All right, I'm going to do everybody a favor this week, and I'm going to present to you the unbeatable argument. Unbeatable. Genevieve and I came up with it just this last week. So let's say you say something to me like, I think that there should be reasonable limitation on the usages and protections of free speech. My counter argument would be, thumbs down, change my mind, and then to walk away. It is literally unbeatable.
Wow. Open my mind, bro.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You're welcome, America. Now let's start winning again.
Make America win again.
Oh, Jesus. Frank, now you didn't even shit on me once for that terrible introduction.
It's old at this point. I'm over it. That's why I have college basketball on my tablet.
All right. Now, welcome everybody to the 5 trillionth installment of Two Guns No Ammo. I'm Big Billy. Let's see. We'll do introductions. My knees are all tore up from playing rugby on AstroTurf, aka carpet with sand in it.
What about tire bits? It's not tire bits?
No, this fucking place, it was literally just sand.
That's stupid.
In larger rocks. So you just introduce yourself and then say some fact about yourself.
All right. I'm Jamie. It's my first time on the show. My knees are also pretty fucked from playing on turf with Bill yesterday. We had a rugby tournament. And my hand got pretty banged up too. A guy that about 6'6" landed on it on top of the turf as well. And so my whole body is pretty sore right now.
But you also scored your first try. You got your Zulu.
Yeah, I did. I scored my first try. I do have to perform a Zulu. If you don't know what it is, Urban Dictionary, or well, basically I have to strip down, run around whatever social function the rugby team has, and chug a beer out of a cleat, also known as shooting the boot.
Yep. Shoot the
Oh,
boot.
no.
Wow. Great. I'm Frank, and I'm up $200 this weekend on college basketball betting.
Fuck you, Frank. God damn it.
I'm Jake, and I've been listening to Wardruna on loop for like 4 straight weeks. It's bad.
You know, it's funny. I played that album at work because I wanted to get them all woke to the great music.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you that it loses a little something coming through onboard laptop speakers.
Don't do that.
Yeah, because all of a sudden you hear and everybody thought it was a fart noise. I said, no, this is actually music. I swear. But
don't do that.
They weren't sure. Okay, so I figured we'd start today with a fun little topic.
Fun here?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about, what do you guys sit in, lay on, whatever? How do you set your body when you're about to game? Because I have a whole system, so I'll just get right into it. When I was a kid, I used to lay on my belly, right? But now that I'm fat, well, I've got a bigger belly and I'm tremendously heavy. That is not good. It doesn't give me good. You need mobility in your arms, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You turn your controller as you're manipulating it. So now I have an office chair, a desk chair that I call my thinking chair. Every big decision I've had to make, I've made in that chair. I won my first game of Settlers of Catan in that chair. I've won all games that I've ever won of Civilization in that chair.
Damn.
Life's milestones right here.
Yeah, but what prompted me to this subject is...
Do you jerk off in that chair?
What prompted me to this decision was the subject is it's broken. The piston thing that holds it up won't hold it up anymore, and I'm having an emotional crisis that I have to throw this thing out, this faithful chair that has almost no padding left because, you know, I've crushed it to death. So I was curious how you guys get ready to ball, how to ball, you know?
I'm going to assume that since you're looking at me, you would like me to respond.
Well, I mean, half of the crew is to my left. It
That's
could be
true.
you or Jamie, whichever.
Oh, go for it.
So I have a computer chair that I wheel around from my computer to in front of my nice TV, and that is pretty much solely how I can play any first-person shooter on Xbox. I am not emotionally attached to my chair. For one, I did not buy it. I acquired it from my old roommate
Did he jerk off in the chair?
Unknown. We're not sure that he has a penis.
Wait, stop the episode. What?
It's a long story.
Okay.
Anyway.
It's not like we have time.
Yeah.
Not like we have 2.5 hours.
Yeah. So I acquired this chair because my other roommate had this female acquaintance over, and Jake probably is starting to remember what story this is.
I know exactly what story
Yeah.
this is.
And she was quite inebriated. And at some point in the middle of the night, I'd like to also point out that my girlfriend at the time was over for the night. So my girlfriend and I are asleep in my bed, and at approximately 4:30 in the morning, the door bolts open, and in walks a shadowy figure and sits down on my computer chair. And I start to hear a liquid. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I turn the light on, and here is my roommate's find for the night, pissing in my chair because she is so drunk she thinks that my room is the bathroom and my computer chair is the toilet.
Comfy ass toilet.
Right?
Yeah, maybe we're onto something here.
Yeah.
So
Office shitters.
I stole my other roommate's chair to replace that one, which I then threw out. Also, I blame my friend Zach for passing out on the bathroom floor for that entire. I don't blame that.
Passing out
girl.
in the only bathroom in the house.
Yes.
And leaving the door locked.
Yes.
Oh, you see? Okay. You know, you're being pretty. That's pretty merciful of you to give that girl the.
I passed out on my bathroom floor last week.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did. It was after the loop.
Yeah.
Dude, I haven't really drank much lately, so I have like a lower tolerance for alcohol. Like I haven't really drank much over the past like 2 or 3 months, and went out to this St. Patty's Day loop and ended up getting home, and I went downstairs to get water, and the room's just spinning in circles, and I'm like, I'm gonna go sit in the bathroom. If I throw up, cool, at least I'm in there. And like next thing you know, I just passed out. I didn't throw up. I didn't wake up hungover either. I just
Wow.
fell
I'm
asleep.
impressed. Or did you wake up still drunk?
No, I wasn't.
That's
I didn't even
impressive.
realize I fell asleep in the bathroom. I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? My roommate got a picture of it. It's
Oh, no.
pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those who aren't familiar, in the town in Wilmington, where our rugby club is, there are quite a few bars, but some of them are kind of far apart. So the loop, as I understand it, is like you pay like $10 or $20, and they give you a wristband, and then you can get on this shuttle all day for free that will just take you to other bars,
Wow.
which is pretty genius.
That's
Wow,
pretty tight.
we're looking
Here's
at
a
we're
picture.
looking at a
Solid.
picture here. That's hot stuff.
Very
Yeah.
good.
See, at
Yeah.
least you're
Excellent
like
work.
several feet away from. Well, there's enough room that somebody had to sit on that toilet. They could, put their feet over
they
you.
could.
Or,
They could have put them on me if they really
Yeah,
wanted
yeah,
to.
yeah.
Whatever.
You were clearly out.
Yeah, yeah, I was.
Nice looking bathroom though. It's comfortable.
Oh, thank you. I did have a rug, so I wasn't like laying on the cold tile floor or anything. So, yeah.
Yeah, our bathroom where our friend passed out that it created this entire situation was a college rat hole of an apartment, and it was I can't imagine how you could fall asleep on that floor and not get chlamydia or something.
Gaze.
I passed out in Gerbil's bathroom before, like that. This was like months ago, and like this is like the dirtiest bathroom you probably could ever see. Basically, what he just said, it's like a college, like
Oh my
like
gosh.
shit
A hole in the ground.
Yeah,
Dude,
and
the
it's
whole-
it's
The whole house slopes.
yeah, it does. Their kitchen has a slant in it.
Oh no.
Yeah,
It's
no.
like it is like the civilian version of a college frat dump house.
yeah.
Like not even like I was in a fraternity and we had a big house that it's like a frat junk turd house. And then
Complete shit.
the guy who lived there moved out because he outgrew that stage of his life. He got somewhere in his 30s, I think, and he's like, I gotta
30s.
I gotta get my shit together. So he moves out, and our friend Gerbil moved in there, and like
I mean,
the walls
the
are
guy's name is Gerbil,
Yeah,
so
his
like
name is Gerbil.
the walls
Yeah.
are bare.
It's just
The
unfortunate.
lights are low. There's like a TV on some egg crates. There's trash. It looks like you remember when that politician was like, "What's Aleppo?"
I think so.
yes.
I think if we showed him a picture of Gerbil's apartment, he would kind of have an idea of just how awful.
Throwing
it is.
shade at Aleppo on the podcast.
No, it was throwing it at Gerbil, right?
Well,
Also Gerbil.
anyway, I passed out in that bathroom.
Oh, my
yeah,
God.
It was like and his roommate just like doused the entire bathroom with bleach the same day. And like the
Holy
fumes,
fuck.
like, I was that fucked up. Like, I
so
ended
you
up
died
like,
and came
oh,
back.
I died, and
Yeah.
like the next day, like I ended up leaving, like waking up and leaving at like 6 a.m. because I had to work the next day, and I get a text from Gerbil saying, "How many brain cells did you lose last night from sleeping in all that bleach?" I'm like, I'm pretty sure all of them. Yeah, every last one.
Oh shit.
Anyway, so setting ourselves up to play video games.
Yeah. Somehow about
So I
that.
sit in that
And
chair.
well, my first step is to pass out in a bleach-soaked bathroom for 12 hours.
Then I don't care where I sit.
Yeah, I sit in that chair, and I get yelled at on occasion from Lisa because I like to sit forward, and that hurts my back, and then I complain about my back hurting, and then and then she says, well, don't lean forward, like I'll do a demonstration so that you all can see, although our podcast cannot.
Oh yeah, so
Yep.
lean forward,
Elbows
like
on your
rounded
knees.
back, elbows on knees. Yeah.
Yep.
That is not just how I play games, it's how I focus on anything I am doing in front of a screen. Whether it's a phone or a computer, at work or at home, anything at all. If I'm like trying to relax or lean back or do anything other than like the zoning forward, arched back, like, you know, leaning on my own knees or at least leaning forward, I get markedly worse at whatever I'm doing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's something to do with my brain and its alignment with my spine. I don't get it.
So when I was a kid, I used to have a desk with I had this 22-inch CRT monitor. I think I ordered a discount from the Soviet Union. They had it in like some block country.
It
and
was
they were
also irradiated then.
like, yeah. They're like, let's sell it to this American kid for $70. Great buy. And aside, I took the time to try to figure out why there were lines across the screen all the time. I thought something was wrong with my video card or my drivers or something. I did some research. The screen was so big and heavy that it couldn't sustain itself without support wires for integrity. These wires literally ran behind the glass, which is why I always had lines separating the screen into thirds.
Wow.
Yeah,
I would be furious.
it was something. Well, that was when I like didn't know shit about anything, and I was like, "This is acceptable."
It was not.
Funnily enough, my mom ended up giving that monitor away to a guy she works with. I think he's from Ukraine, so it sort of goes
It's
full
like,
circle.
yes, comrade, the lines.
Oh yeah, I grew up with this monitor, is what he said. I don't know. Jesus. Okay, so no, but I used to have my monitor, right? I had a little desk and my keyboard I still play with. It's finally breaking down the space bar. I've been hammering too hard. I still got the same mouse. But I would have one foot on the ground, one foot up on a little crossbeam on the desk, and I would lean my right leg against my subwoofer. I played with headphones, so why I had the subwoofer there? Not a good reason.
To lean your leg against.
Yeah. I sat my leg there for so long. I had an indentation in my calf for like 10 years afterwards. It's finally gone.
Oh.
But like if I put both feet on the ground, I was terrible. If I like shifted my upper body in any way, I was terrible. The only way I could be competitive, and I was playing competitively, at least on those servers. I've talked about it before. But if my body wasn't in the exact same position, it was awful. I was just terrible. And it's a lot more with Twitch shooters for me. Now, what kind of games do you play, Jamie? You play a lot of FIFA?
No, I don't actually. I don't really play too many video games. I play Madden here and there. I recently started playing that new Dragon Ball Z game, the Fighter Z. That's a pretty decent game.
For good things.
It's pretty good. I like it. And I think like I just started playing those recently. I used to be big into to video games. I was a huge Halo player. Me and my two brothers actually played that pretty competitively, and I was big into Call of Duty, but I don't really play that anymore either.
So did you have like a certain setup that you had to be in to play well, or you just kind of perform well anywhere you were, however you were sitting?
I was usually like pretty like I guess just leaning back, and I guess when I really wanted to focus, then that's when I would lean forward, But I didn't. I used to be really competitive when it came to video games, but now I just do it for fun. I don't really care as long as it's competitive. Then I don't really care. I don't care if I win or lose, but Yeah.
That is literally the opposite of my current development, because I was just fucking around with games for a while, and then I started playing Overwatch, and I'm like, I gotta play tonight because I want to be good for no reason at all. I'm not gonna go pro, but I need to get better.
Well, it's always fun to win too. Like I played my roommate in Madden, and I haven't played Madden since like probably in 8 years, and I busted his ass like 27 to nothing, and it was still the second quarter when that was a score, so we ended up turning it off. And then we played Dragon Ball Z. I beat him in that too, so he turned that off and just watched TV.
Oh, no.
Okay, so here's the question. From both sides, you're getting like absolutely dominated. Do you finish the game to give the guy beating you the satisfaction of victory, or, or do you say, all right, let's just move on? I can sum it up in one game. We're playing Smash Bros, right? I'm up 3 lives out of 5 on you. Do you just jump off for the last 2?
No. Yeah,
'Cause I could come back.
Shit.
I could come back from that.
Yeah?
I think I could.
I mean, and that's the thing. Like, there for a while in college, there was a guy, if he got up on me, I knew he was going to beat me. And I would jump off the edge so we could just get to the next game. And he's like, dude, you're like being a spoil sport baby. And I was like, fuck, you're right, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you were. He's fucking right. Well, I mean,
Still is.
when I played I used to play Madden. I was a big like sports game kind of guy, and or actually just Madden. And then I was losing 28-0 one time, and it was still the first quarter, and I finished the game and ended up coming back and beating him. I actually beat him like 42-28. Like, like the guy just kept fucking making dumb decisions, and I came back and beat him worse than what I was losing by. So yeah. I don't think there's ever reason to quit unless it's just complete bullshit that you're losing, like somebody's cheating or
Yeah, I second that. I mean, I haven't played anything. I think the last time I did anything with another player was when you and I, Frank, did some co-op Halo 1 on the Master Chief Collection, and that was months ago.
Yeah, it was
for like 2
probably
levels.
November or October or something like that.
I don't play online. I don't do much of anything.
So I play with a friend of the podcast, Carl. I play Overwatch with him. Obviously, I've been talking shit about it. The shit out of it about
every
it.
episode.
Whatever. And he's much higher ranked than me, so every once in a while I'm level like 70. We'll play with people who are level like 652.
Jesus.
Yeah, and I'll get to a point where my whole gaming experience is respawning, running into a room, attempting to hit the trigger, and then being killed. That's it for like 10 minutes. And that's the point at which I'm like, why am I even playing? I'm doing literally nothing. That's when I want to quit. It gets like three of those games in a row, and I got to turn it off for the night. But now, what if you're winning? What if you're dominating somebody? Do you give them the option? You'd be like, hey, man, we can just call it now.
No. When people like that's another thing. When you can play Madden, somebody can concede if you're beating them by a lot, and I would always decline. You're not quitting. You're gonna finish this game. Like, you're gonna finish this ass whooping I'm giving you. Always.
I don't know. I remember I've played used to play Risk against my dad, and when one of us was how did you play Risk with 2 people? I don't know. We figured it out. But when one of us we clearly couldn't save it from Australia, I'd be like, all right, can we wrap it up? Can we have some dignity here? And it'd be like, all right, I take over the planet, but I let you govern half of Australia. As that's the only thing I can remember where you really like give somebody a break. Other than the other day when I was getting whooped in chess, and I was like, all right, I'm fucked. I knocked my king over. But yeah, I
think one thing for sure in some sports, and this is more sports than video games, but I would say also in the sports or in the video games based off of the sports, like it is perfectly acceptable to concede in golf and tennis and chess, right? Not that, I guess chess is not really a sport, but whatever.
It's extremely competitive. And
it is, yeah.
And that's just kind of the nature of golf and tennis and chess, where they're more very focused on sportsmanship and that kind of shit. Cricket, I think, is the same way, but I don't follow cricket at all, so I'm not going to speak about it. But yeah, it's perfectly okay to concede in golf. And just also because I think golf takes a lot longer than most sports, where it's like, all right, yeah, let's not waste our time. But like football, no, you're playing that game, man.
Yeah, I sort of feel like
Imagine if the Patriots conceded.
Yeah,
Are
you fucking kidding me?
Or not the Patriots. I'm sorry, not the Patriots. Yeah, the Patriots conceded against the Falcons. And then they came back.
Well, that's sort of the thing, I guess. In chess, like you as a player, you can kind of tell when you're beat, right?
Yeah.
You're just like, fuck, I know this. And in golf, the game is so much against yourself.
Exactly. That's a big difference.
And that's the thing I was reading. Mostly you play against your handicap rather than another person. So I guess if you're having a really off day, you can go, this isn't my day. Quick side note, is Tiger back?
Tiger's back, man.
Dude, I am so excited to even realize how much I love Tiger. Until Tiger Woods is back playing golf. How long did he take off?
He was playing pretty bad for a while.
So he's pretty much not really done anything in about 7 years. 2011 was like the last season where he was consistently active. He came back for a little bit, like for a couple of tournaments since then after some back surgery, but it didn't go well and he needed to rehab a little bit more.
How did he hurt his back?
He's just like, dude, he just broke himself because he was doing like Navy SEAL workouts to like keep himself in shape, which is just totally unnecessary if you're a golfer. But that was what kept him focused.
Banging the toots.
Well, that that was a separate problem.
Fucking those porn stars.
That hurt him emotionally and mentally, probably, but he did physically break
himself.
That
hurt him financially and in no other way.
I just read something today too that he was like court ordered to take like a shit ton of paternity tests. Like
really?
I think it was like over 100 that he was ordered to take.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Did the court know you can't get pregnant through the butt? That was apparently his thing. That was the big news story. He liked anal sex with porn stars.
I was into butt stuff.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Whatever.
Whatever works for you.
You know what I mean? If you're fucking that famous, you'd be like, oh, hey, girl, I really like ear play. Be like, all right. They'd be like, I guess that works. You're Tiger Woods, right? Yeah. Fuck. But so he was. Somebody also told me, somebody who knows more about golf than I do, also pointed out that his style was he would just crush, like he was ripping those balls down the drive, so much power, and that would wear his body out too. He was like a running back in the 80s, right? They just played so hard that it would tear him up.
And that definitely doesn't help. But I mean, he was a great putter too, and his like course management was incredible. Like there are plenty of players that have just historically hit hard. John Daly is one.
Oh, John Daly, my boy.
How could
grip it and rip it?
Yeah, right. How could you not like John Daly? But yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of things. Like he really did. Like he tried to push, like how a professional golfer could play to the physical limits. And whenever you try and push your body to any sort of physical limit, you run the chance of really breaking it down. And he did. But he seems well recovered. He's kind of changed up his game a little bit. He's not swinging for the fences every time that he steps up to the tee. And it looks like he's really settled into a good place with his game. I mean, he's been consistent in every tournament that he's played since he debuted in the Hero World Challenge a couple of weeks ago.
I was really worried that we weren't going to see him in a competitive way until he got to the age to be in like this
senior tour. I was kind of concerned about that too, but I just thought there's no way that somebody could have like his swing mechanics are perfect. There's no way that you could be like that and know that much about the game of golf and then just kind of stop.
You know, an interesting thing about him, I was reading a discussion on Tiger Woods on Reddit, and someone just talking about how golf was just so much more popular when Tiger was big. Like there was a guy who was a bartender. He made a shitload more money now that Tiger's doing well because people came into the bar to watch him. You know, and like Nike has since gotten out of the actual gear market for golf. They're not making clubs and shit anymore. And that, I guess that sort of worked when Tiger was doing well, but now they're just selling apparel.
Well, that is mostly true. But I will say, golf without Tiger the past couple of years has done remarkably well because of some of the names that came up pretty much who got into golf because they grew up watching Tiger.
Yeah.
Like that is his legacy right now is people like Jordan Smith and Rory McIlroy, Dustin Johnson got into golf because they watched Tiger.
Is Rory has I think I watched him one time. It might have been the Masters. He was really within striking distance, and then he kind of blew it.
He was in the lead. I think that was 2 or 3 years ago. He was in the lead for like the second and third round, and then he fell apart in the fourth round.
So the Masters is the biggest golf tournament out there.
Yeah, I would say so. It's certainly my favorite.
yeah.
There's 4 majors in golf. The Masters is the first every year. The Open Championship, what most people call the British Open, is the second. The U.S. Open is third, and then the PGA Championship is the last one of the year.
Is the Masters played at the most beautiful golf course in the world?
I think that's pretty debatable.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I was sort of asking for your opinion. It's
I
played,
think I don't know if I think so or not. I really do love the look that they have at Augusta. I've seen Pebble Beach, and then that is certainly up there. I really think Pebble Beach is real nice. I haven't just seen it on TV, but I have now seen it in person.
wow.
What else is really nice? There's a couple of courses in Ireland that are extremely nice.
Mhm.
Congressional is really nice. I don't know. I certainly think it's in competition.
That's specifically why I watch the Masters. It's because I just like watching it, find the biggest, most high definition TV I can find, and just look at that golf course. So anyway, Tiger's back. I thought that was interesting. Rory McIlroy just got signed to a contract extension with Nike. I think he was signed for like $20 million or something for 5 years with the option to extend for 5 years. I think he just got a 10-year, $100 million extension with Nike. Interestingly, even though they're just selling gear now, which prompted me to ask, has he become a closer in recent times? Because I remember he blew it a few years ago. But I know it's not specifically video game related, but if you do remember, there's a ton of Tiger Woods PGA golf games, which are supposed to be a shitload of fun.
Yeah. Now it's just PGA, but Rory, I think, is the big name on it.
Yeah. So I'd like to see him become a killer if he's not already. I just don't know. I sort of fell out of it the past couple of years. What the hell were we working? Okay. Yeah. So I guess I'll get to my point about the whole sitting situation. When I play online shooters, I sort of want to lean too, but the arms on my chair are too low that I have to hold my elbows up. And that sort of makes it hard for me to shift quickly my mouse hand. So I keep dreaming about creating the perfect setup. A chair that supports my body in a totally neutral sitting position. And then I can rotate it backwards so I'm sitting it like almost flat, but still maintaining a neutral position with my arms supported. And I can have my keyboard on the left and my mouse on the right on their own arms, and above me the TV is suspended perfectly. I want to create a game pod where I wouldn't have to move for hours if I
like a
didn't want
sensory
to.
deprivation tank, but with a computer. And a screen.
Precisely.
I've seen people that work for electronic market makers, also known to some as high-frequency traders, that have like a lot of people will see traders have like 4 to 6 screens at their trading station, but I've seen guys that work for like electronic market makers that have like 16 to 20 like in a giant, and they're like 32 inches, and they're like set back kind of like that, where the screens are put on like a big like metal frame in front of them, and they're like down in an almost like an auditorium style like seat below where all those TVs are, like leaned back with their like multiple keyboards in front of them, so that it's like, you ever see Grandma's Boy?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the guy's name? The nerd that programs.
Oh, I can't.
I mean, yeah,
like
that's
JP
all of them.
or
Yeah,
something like that?
JP.
Is that what it is?
When they
Yeah.
go into his like little pod and he has like the robot music playing or whatever, it's kind of like that, but like more TVs, more screens, where they're just like leaning back. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I mean, I would love a setup like that, but I think I would truly ascend to like full on. I don't know, what would the word be? Like computer. Blah. Like,
I see.
take it beyond any.
That's a word, right? Cool.
Yeah.
It's
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, it's not. But that's totally unreasonable. Like, I don't know. I don't need a head support and arm support and rotating chairs, but I want it. You know, maybe I should just be a cooler guy and sit up straight.
I need to be like chained in the correct posture.
Right, suspended from the ceiling.
Forced to do all the things I already do in that position until my brain acclimates is what I need.
Exactly.
Because it's much better than slipping a disc in 10 years.
Well, I'll tell you, the one thing that I actually want at work is a headrest. Because without it, like, I can lean too far back, so I keep my head forward. And then forward head position's a real thing, right? Like, people's spines are getting all fucked up in their neck zone because they keep their head forward, look at their phones all the time, their computer screens. I don't know what you do to fix it, but it's not good.
Restraints.
Yeah, if G had any voice at all today, I'd have her weigh in. But
I like doing this guy, the lean back with the head, with the arms.
Yeah.
On the,
that
like,
makes you
elbows
seem,
out.
It makes you seem
hands
really
behind your
pompous,
head.
though.
More like a what?
It makes you seem really pompous, though.
I don't think it makes you seem pompous in and of
think
itself.
No.
I think it
I
looks
am, so it fits.
Well, I mean, yeah.
They
there's
actually
that.
say that puts a lot of pressure on your neck. when
Really?
you do that. Yeah, that's why they tell you to keep, like, when you do a sit-up, they tell you to keep your fingers open and unlocked instead of locked behind your head because locking them puts a lot of pressure, you know, on the neck.
I think it like kind of drives you to like pull your head up.
Yeah.
And that's worse even than just maintaining a constant like forward
Right.
head position.
You know what? I'm gonna build this fucking chair. Fuck it. And I'm gonna get the plans together. I'm gonna put it up.
What
somewhere.
if you directly support your neck instead of holding your head? You'd like directly hold your neck. I wonder if that's healthy.
Mouth really close.
All right.
Yeah, just like that.
So okay, sorry. I was trying to make a note.
Fuck yeah.
In case the viewers are curious,
yeah.
When we turn our heads, we actually have to move our whole upper bodies around the microphone so that we can see who we're talking to and still talk directly into the mic.
It
That's
still changes the pattern of recording people's voices, but it keeps the levels about the same.
yeah.
Which is important because you don't want to hear me talk like this for half the show. I don't even know if that's picking up because I'm not looking at the levels right now, but it's not important. Anyway, moving on. I don't know.
Here's the question: feet up, resting on something, or feet on the
No.
ground?
Feet on the ground.
If I'm leaning back, I will take any form of ottoman. If I'm sitting on that couch that you two are on right now to watch a movie or something, the computer chair I'm currently sitting in is an ottoman every time.
Yeah.
Without fail.
I will take any like a half-inch stack of paper over putting my feet flat on the ground if I can put my feet in front of me.
Now, if I'm if I'm in my computer chair leaning forward, what I've been doing lately is crossing like bracing my feet against the legs of my office chair and then like straining my ankles, and then after like half an hour I pull them out and my bones and ligaments are like, you are a retard, Jacob. Why did you do this to us? And I'm like, it was so comfy though.
Yeah, my if I keep my legs bent for too long, my knees feel like they're gonna explode. Yeah, because I've been abusing them for 26 years.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's enough talk about chairs.
Moral of the story: brains are dumb.
Brains are dumb. Chairs are great. Wasn't that so much fun?
Hooray.
All right, please tell me somebody else has a topic they want to talk about this week.
Well, since we have a Halo player here, or at least a former Halo player, we can talk about the Halo World Championship, which has just had their regional finals this weekend, and will have their world finals April 13th, I believe, in like 2 weeks. The weekend after the Masters is how I'm remembering it.
Do they air that anywhere or?
It's on Microsoft's website,
Okay.
like Halo, whatever, Halo's website. I'm sure you can watch it on Twitch or whatever streaming service Microsoft prefers.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's on TV. Yeah, it's on Twitch. Okay, great.
Oh, okay.
Perfect. Jake
I
has
didn't
it
even
up
realize that
on the
people
TV.
still really like played Halo all that much.
Oh, hardcore.
Yeah. Halo 5 is, Halo 5 is the best Halo multiplayer since Halo 2. By far. I don't know what they did to it.
Tickets on sale now.
Yeah.
Halo World Championships. Yeah, I just googled Halo Championship and it came right to the halowaypoint.com/en-us/esports. And we talked on a prior episode a lot about the rise of esports and its prospects. And, even old IPs older than Halo are, having payouts for winning competitors.
This is
pretty
a
crazy.
$1 million purse total.
Yeah, it's crazy. Go
That's-
them.
Yeah. Yeah.
All in favor.
I think that's pretty cool. I'm really glad that Halo 5 is still generated. I mean, that game's like 2 years old probably at this point.
Mhm.
Halo 6 is probably coming out this year, I think.
Really?
I think so. It's and it's gonna be all Xbox published, or no, I'm sorry, not Xbox, but Microsoft published games. It's gonna be on Xbox Game Pass. So that's the monthly subscription service Microsoft has, where you can play any game on it for free for as long as you have the Game Pass. Right now, the new game that everybody's talking about is Sea of Thieves. That's new. You play a pirate. You go around. It's like a online co-op game. 4 players at a time. You can get a crew together and like do a pirate ship. And it seems pretty cool. But yeah, all Microsoft published games are going to be on the Game Pass, including the new Halo game. Sea of Thieves, like I said, is the most recent addition. State of Decay, which we talked about 2 weeks ago on the podcast, will be on the Game Pass. So if you're thinking about a cheap way to play a lot of games, that's probably the number one way you can
Basically,
go
if you're
right
the
now.
opposite of me, who buys, a few games and plays them for millions of hours and nothing else.
Yeah.
If you're the opposite of that, something like the Game Pass is probably
Yeah.
you're up your alley. A spiritual successor to the Sega Channel. Guys ever get the noodle with Sega Channel when that was a thing?
We've talked
No.
about this before.
We did talk about it a while back, but no one listens. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the Sega Channel was before my time, so I've only ever read about it.
I had a Sega Channel.
Oh, no shit.
My grandfather bought one for me when I was like 3 or 4.
My cousins had it.
It apparently, like, you could like buy a subscription to it for like a year or something like that. And my grandfather bought it for a while. But yeah, I mean, we're talking about like 1993, 1994, basically
Sega
Netflix
Genesis.
for video games. Yeah.
Mid-90s.
Yeah. You just plugged it right into the phone line, I guess, and it could.
It was like a cartridge extension that
Yeah.
you put in the Sega Genesis, and it had an Ethernet cable that you would plug into the phone line.
Yep.
I guess it was a phone cable.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it was Ethernet at that point. But yeah, it was just like had its own little internet service, and you would just stream. I think it was there was 100 games available at a given time,
Yeah.
and they would rotate out a few of them every few months. But yeah, my cousins had it, and I had exposure to like the original Road Rash games and Toe Jam and Earl or whatever.
No way.
And all
That was
the
like
Sonics, like
People
all that stuff.
love
Way ahead
Toe
of its
Jam and
time.
Earl.
I think it was 80% the soundtrack.
I've never played it. I don't know what the hell it's about. It only makes me think of Earthworm Jim for some reason.
I can kind of see how you would put the two together in your head. Very different. Earthworm Jim was a platformer,
Okay.
so side-scrolling platform shooter initially, at least. Toe Jam and Earl was more like, what's the best way to put it? You'd spawn in like a level, and it was just like a small like open world level, and you'd run around, and there were like, I think it's been so long. There were like enemies who you'd have to negotiate, and there'd be like collectibles, and you would basically just have to unlock the way out of this level to proceed to the next one. Less in the way of like jumping platforming for the most part. I think either some of the levels or some of the games did have a platforming element, but it was just a trippy, drug-induced game. I was like 5 when I played it, so I don't remember very much. But very, very strange and kind of cool. I kind of want to get an emulator or something and actually explore those old games.
There's okay. Have you ever heard of the idea of abandonware?
Nope.
No.
So, they are games that have trademarks and copyrights, and somebody owned them at one point, but there no longer exists any entity that will action like a cease and desist for distributing it. So it's essentially, there are ownership rights, but they've been abandoned, so they're called abandonware.
It's like default freeware.
Yeah. So there are whole websites about that. And if you want to get after some old games, you go, it's like abandonware.com or something.
Huh.
And you know, a lot of them are DOS games, like the early computer system before Windows. Think like command line. But it's pretty neat. And I'm curious maybe if there is an iteration of Toe Jam and Earl that you can find on Abandonware.
I just happened upon myabandonware.com. Let's see if there's anything decent here.
While we do that, I'll posit a question. I wonder if those games were downloaded to your little subscription thing for the old Sega,
or if they were streamed.
Yeah, or if there was some sort of server doing the computation, they streamed it all, or what?
I would think that it would be streamed because I can't imagine that. Like the only thing I guess that it would be streaming would be the video output, right?
Yeah.
So and you're talking about back then, like really low quality video.
I mean, could you even handle that much data back then? Like, were people streaming videos in 1993 and 4? I really don't know because I was like 4.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure.
Stream Doom 2 on my browser?
I don't.
This is going to be amazing.
I think you are.
I think this is a thing.
Game archive loaded?
Launching emulator.
DOSBox. Okay. So DOSBox is something that you can download onto your machine in order to run these older games.
Yeah, it's like a virtual machine, basically. It's just so small since it's DOS.
Yeah, but it seems like this website has it built in.
Browser-based DOSBox.
Unbelievable.
People just make everything.
Yeah.
Like literally, the world has
God.
just decided,
shit.
We're in the future, and we will just make everything that you want.
Oh, man. You got to push all the buttons now to see what the hell the controls
Oh
are.
my God, I am playing Doom 2 on my browser. The response is horrible, and the mouse sensitivity is way too low, but I have a pistol. Are you a bad guy? No.
None of these guys seem to be upset that you're around. Maybe you're not shooting because you're unable to shoot at this point.
No, I can shoot.
Oh, shit. Wow.
Okay, so myabandonware.com, you can apparently stream old games.
I think you downloaded the full game and it was only 6 megabytes.
Well, yeah.
I would
You can
say
also
that's-
download it. I'm being hit.
Oh, that guy finally got pissed that you're here, I guess. Oh, shit, you are murdering guys.
I'm
Well, I guess that's
straight,
Doom for you.
Straight up killer. Yeah, okay, so this is a thing. Definitely look into it.
Yeah,
everyone.
so there's abandonware, and then I guess there's also freeware to look into, which is, I think, maybe might actually be intended to be free, but there is so much old content out there that if you can get past the graphics and sometimes rough gameplay, that you could play a lot of free stuff, and it's a lot of fun, which, at some point we'll be doing, but...
Look at the eyebrows on your little face.
Oh, man.
I think I'm trying to play with the mouse and the arrow keys. What's fire from the keyboard?
I'm not sure. So,
Shift maybe? Control.
it seems that I think there's a big push, or maybe the push has already happened, that software is moving from software as a product, something that you create, build, package, and give to a customer in exchange for money, and software as a service, where you're utilizing a much more subscription-based model. Everything right now wants to make money through subscription.
Yeah.
YouTube wants
Pretty
to do
annoying.
it. Netflix does it. Hulu does it. Windows even had a thing pop up when I was updating. They go, Windows is a service, and it's normal for services to need updates. So wait a minute. I guess you've decided you're a service now as opposed to a product. But that's the way people make money. A lot of these like kick-started neat little ideas will give you a free trial. Like the things that are like boxes of goods that they send you every month, or food or whatever. They'll sign you up for a free trial, and then you're automatically subscribed to their subscription model, which I guess makes a lot of sense, because it's way easier to just automatically withdraw from somebody's account than it is to get them to reach into their pocket and give money all the time.
What it's all about, yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me at all that they're willing to give all these games on Game Pass for a subscription fee, if I'm understanding correctly. Because think about a gym. I have been to the gym twice in the last 4 months. I still pay every month. And they're winning.
Thank you.
They're making the money.
Thank you for subsidizing my gym membership.
So it seems pretty neat. The only real issue for me is that like you don't have ownership over anything. But even now, I went bananas on Steam and bought a bunch of games. But if Steam ever decided that they didn't want me to have that shit anymore, it would simply be gone. I mean, that's that, I guess.
Well, there was something we discussed. I don't know if we discussed on the show, but Alan Wake at one point.
Yes, we did talk about it briefly.
Yeah, well, we'll rehash it here. They the whoever wrote like the ending credits music, I guess the developer's rights to that music expired or something. So all new downloads of the game have like some other music at the end. It's like the only difference. But if you downloaded the game before that, you still have it because of just the timestamp on your license for the game. Now I have Alan Wake. I still haven't played it because I'm a chump. But I'm wondering if I were to... Well, I switched computers recently and had a new download of it. I'm wondering, and just haven't investigated yet, if because of when I bought the game, I have the old music. I have no investment in this, so I'm just curious. Or if since I re-downloaded it, if it's now whatever they replaced it with because that license expired.
Yeah.
So, in short, copyright law is weird and or stupid.
Yeah. We were of the opinion that if you create something, ostensibly a piece of art or whatever,
Sure.
It should be able to be distributed in its original form for forever, right? Like even Scrubs on Netflix had music removed because the license is expired.
Fucked.
Which is bizarre.
It was written. It was either written for or licensed by the show or the game or the movie or whatever. While it is a product in and of itself, it became part of a different product, and I'm right there with you. Issue it as is. Okay, the license is expired. Fine. But that just means that the music can't be used for anything else.
Anything new,
in my
right?
humble opinion.
Yeah. But, here's the thing. We're moving away from this idea of ownership in general. And we talked a little bit about video games. Look at how much leasing is being pushed for cars, right? You don't have to worry about it, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of it, you don't own anything.
Look at some of the like biggest businesses. Like you look at like Uber or Lyft. Like the owner of that or whoever created it owns none of those cars that are taking people from place to place. They're all being like used for to take people somewhere, but the actual creator doesn't own any of those cars. Airbnb, same thing. They're being people's homes are being used and people just staying there, but the actual creator doesn't own any of those homes at all, but he's just making revenue off of that.
And the consumers, in fact, don't own anything either, right?
Yeah.
They're just...
Well, it's funny because Uber doesn't view itself as like a transportation company. They view itself as a software company that makes an app that matches drivers and riders, right? And even more so, they almost view their drivers more as their customers than the people than their riders, right?
Uber's sort of developing a little bit of a reputation for being nefarious.
I don't think they're developing a reputation for being nefarious. I think they've developed a very, very well-deserved reputation for being nefarious. I try and avoid using Uber as compared to Lyft as often as possible because I just really don't like the way that company has been run. Travis Kalanick is no longer the CEO, so I mean, there's
so
that.
it could go a different way.
Yeah.
So what you guys have any opinions on the accident that Uber just had with one of its self-driving vehicles?
I heard that Elon Musk responded. It was a Tesla, wasn't it?
No,
it was an Uber.
I'm thinking something different.
Yeah,
Go on.
So an Uber vehicle ran into a woman who was crossing the street at night with her bicycle, and the woman was killed in the collision.
Yeah.
There was a human driver behind the wheel. He wasn't looking. He was like looking down at something else. Whether or not he could have actually avoided it is sort of debatable in how dark the video looks. Now, I've heard assertions that the light levels were messed with to make it look darker than it actually was. I don't know. Whatever. But those vehicles are supposed to be able to see in the dark because they're not using... They have systems other than optical light cameras. So it just doesn't make any sense that this lady got plowed into, whether or not it was dark or whether or not she was in a crosswalk.
From everything that I've seen, I did not watch the actual video itself, but from all of the commentary that I've seen, it is unlikely that a human driver would have avoided her as well. She just kind of erratically jumped out in front of the car in a very quick, you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
that it would have been, if a human were there, they may have at least tried to react, but they probably would not. They're like the reaction timing that would have been needed to avoid her would, like, humans aren't really capable of reacting quick enough for that.
So I watched the video because it's on. Anytime something like this happens, there's a certain subreddit you can go to, and you'll probably see the video. And she very suddenly appears in the car's headlights, which that's why people are like, even under the street light, looks super dark. There should be varying gradients of light. Like somebody messed with the levels. I don't know, whatever. But if all things being accurate in that video, yeah, there's no way that anybody could have reacted. Yeah. But these sensors are supposed to be able to see further than the headlights. And the thing was, she didn't really jump out. She was just meandering across the road where she shouldn't have been, and didn't have the presence of mind to not get herself run over. But I'm not to disparage or anything. I think she was like a transient, they called her, and you never know what's going on there. But do you guys think it'll be a setback for automated driving? I think it would just prompt more legislation to demand a certain standard of performance, because honestly, I think it's just going to be so much cheaper once this automated driving is created, that companies are going to want it no matter what.
I think that in 8 years, by 2025, like that year of model of car, let's say, it will be a standard option. Like 20 or 30 years ago, it was a standard option to have the choice between manual or automatic transmission. And that within 10 years after that, like 2035, like today, auto drive, like autonomous driving, will be the standard, much like automatic transmission is today. And you will have to fight to find in a manual transmission car or in a manually driven car. And by the way, I think your insurance will be through the roof.
I wonder if, I think you're mostly right, but I think manual operation is still going to be part of the equation no matter what.
Oh, it is, because I mean,
kind of like how cash is never going anywhere, but everyone uses a card. I think manual driving is never going to go away. I think everyone's going to have to test for it to get a vehicle. Everyone's going to have to know how to do it. But probably at the same time, automatic drive is going to be a thing in every vehicle.
I think we're going to see a shift from, you're going to start to see, how we have dedicated lanes throughout most of the country for high occupancy vehicles, like carpooling lanes basically, or hybrid electric whatever lanes. I think you'll start to see dedicated autonomous vehicle lanes, and then you'll see a shift from that to dedicated manually driven car lanes. So that if you want to drive yourself, you're more than welcome to, but stick to your own lane, because all the automated cars are going to be over here doing their own thing, driving in a much more efficient system.
Yeah, I think I touched on this on another episode. Jay Leno predicted that like the internal combustion engine is going to go the same way as the horse. It's not going to go away. Horses didn't go away, but now they're sort of appreciated for their beauty as opposed to being used in a utilitarian way, in the United States at least, and excluding the Amish before somebody wants to get really pedantic or whatever. But I sort of think that's what's going to happen with individual drivers, manually driven vehicles. Now, I've talked to a few different people, and I've had one person in particular say, I will never allow the car to drive me fully autonomously. And I think financially they may be in a position to make that true. But he had some doubt that legislation, that we would ever get to a position where it was not economically feasible to drive your own vehicle. Do you, Frank, think that it will become too expensive due to insurance rates for the average person to drive a manual vehicle?
Not going to say it'll be too expensive due to insurance rates. Potentially. I would say you would have to really want to do it. Like, it would be capable for the average middle-class person to do it. Much the same way that, like, if you want to get into classic cars and drive a classic car today, insurance is not going to be what holds you back, right? You can go out and you can buy... I actually know people that do this. buy like 30, because I think the limit in Pennsylvania is like 30 years, right? You could go out and buy like a 1987 Oldsmobile, like Cutlass Sierra Cutlass or whatever the hell they're called, and classified as like a classic car. And then like the insurance, like you basically don't need insurance on it. Like you do need some form of insurance, but it's like super cheap. Like you can get it for like $200 a year because the insurance company is making the assumption that since it's a classic car, you're only driving it on nice Sundays for the joy of driving an old classic car. When in reality, you just drove an old beater. You're just driving an old beater and driving it like a normal person. But to move beyond that, right? There are people who actually do buy classic cars. Like insurance is not what's holding them up. It's that they want to buy a classic car because they want a classic car. And most people aren't in the position to go out and spend an extra $10,000 on a old, like Chevy Impala, like 1968 Chevy Impala, just to drive it around.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I sort of feel like classic cars are still relatively limited to people with the means to have them because they're.
I know plenty of people that don't make a ton of money that have them because you can pick them up for like $10,000 and you can still get a loan for them, right? So, and you could get, you figure a $10,000 loan over 4 years is only going to run you like less than $200 a month.
Yeah.
So, if you're in your mid 40s and you've been paying down your house or whatever like that, you're in a decent spot. You could probably afford to pay $200 a month for a car, not making that much money.
So it was interestingly when automation was picking up steam a while ago. I mean, it's constantly picking up steam, so that's sort of meaningless what I just said. But a few months ago, anyway, somebody was talking about how people at MIT were working on creating a system so that cars could talk to each other and hit a regular intersection, and nobody would have to stop. They would just slip right between each other. And I'm like,
that seems like asking for
why
carrots.
the fuck would you even bother? You know what I mean? I guess just to say you did, but the payoff is so small.
Yeah.
For the one time it messes up and everybody dies. Like, why not just make a system where people actually merge onto roundabouts properly?
Yeah, if one way more efficient system, right? With like when you talk about trade-off for risk, like much better trade-off there. But if you wanted to say you could do that, but in intersections going 25 miles an hour, because like cars today, if there was that small like 0.0001% chance of an accident happening, like if an accident happened with how safe cars are today, especially like if we start converting over to all electric cars where you can basically make cars tanks in the front and back, right? Because
crumple zones.
Yeah, you would basically be like, okay, so we have an accident and it kind of inconveniences people, but like the chance of them actually getting hurt from a 25 mile an hour, even head-on collision with another car going 25 miles an hour, it's like they're not going to get hurt. Then they might get a bloody nose from an airbag.
When Genevieve was buying her car, she was looking at some smaller cars and ended up getting a small car, the Spark, but not as small as like a Mini Cooper that she was thinking about. And I told her, I was like, listen, you get that many, I'm happy for you, but I will never get in that goddamn thing. Not once. Because one, I don't trust that there are even crumple zones existent. And two, I think they're like reinforced frames. I know the smart cars are. Those little teeny smart cars that are basically go-karts. They're basically titanium shells. So that if you crash into something, the car's fine. Right? But there's no crumple zone, so all that energy just goes into your body and your organs go, well, we're done.
Yeah.
It's over. But I guess the point with electric vehicles is they actually have the motors next to the wheels, so they have extra space because they don't have an engine. So you can
create much larger crumple zones.
Yeah, the older I get, the more I'm appreciating crumple zones in cars. Jamie, do you think you'd ever let a car drive for you?
Probably not.
No?
Nah.
See, I mean, one thing that I really
can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait to like not have to get an Uber so I can take my drunk ass out somewhere.
Actually, that's a good point. If I were pretty drunk, then I'd probably want a car to just drive me.
I would imagine that the DUI laws would change little, if at all, in this paradigm. Like, I'm going to make the assumption that you're still going to have to know how to operate the vehicle. And being in the driver's seat, you're going to be responsible for whatever happens. if there's any kind of expectation that you'll stop the vehicle. You know, like this fella who in the self-driving Uber, you know, that woman got killed. I don't think this case or cases like it might be the precedent that gets at what I'm talking about. So, you know, you taking yourself out, you know, and getting wasted and then having to self-drive, you know, in your robo-car back to your house. I would imagine with the slow pace and yet somehow reactionary nature of the legislature, that probably still wouldn't fly as nice
Yeah,
as
I
it would
agree.
be.
I've heard stories like a story. One guy, all he was doing was just sleeping in his car, but because he was drunk, a cop ended up, pulling up behind him, and because the guy's keys were in the car, he got a DUI for it, and all the guy was doing was pulled over sleeping.
Yeah, he was doing the responsible thing.
Yeah, exactly, and he still got a DUI.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've heard, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not telling you to do anything, but I heard the big thing there is the location of your keys. So if your keys are not present, but you are, typically they'll leave you alone, I think, at least in Pennsylvania. But here's the thing. They're already working, I think they're patenting or somebody's building a vehicle that simply doesn't have a steering wheel. It's not there. So this idea that you're held responsible for the actions, well, I don't know how that would work. And this raises a different question, right? Will companies actually go for that? Because if the vehicle malfunctions and hits somebody, is the company then liable for the software product that they put on that car? So will car companies want to assume the risk of giving you a vehicle with no steering wheel? Now, I'll probably, hopefully have the means to have a car that I can manually drive, but I would love to have a drunk sleeper car so that I can be driven to the bar, get liquored up, then I go in the back because, you won't need normal seats. I'll have a little cot there, go to bed, and wake up at home. Think about, or I could get a job 2 hours away. I roll out of bed at 8 a.m, go to sleep in my car, wake up at work. The commute's nothing anymore.
I think what I'm most looking forward to out of self-driven cars is the coordination between cars. I think it'll just we're running into a problem right now. Philadelphia, New York, Boston, these major cities that are very, very old, right? Los Angeles isn't even that old, but it's just fucked traffic-wise. If we have all the cars communicating with each other and coordinating using how much can we, first of all, with self-driving cars, we can fill roads to a much higher capacity than human-driven cars when they're coordinating with each other. So if a given road can handle 1 million cars in one day of self-driving people, it might be able to handle 5 to 10 million cars a day that are all coordinating with each other. And 2, you'll also be able to have them coordinate this highway already has 3 million cars driving on it today, so we'll divert other cars to go alternate routes. And it just traffic just immediately alleviates itself, and it gives the United States infrastructure a much deserved break in how long we have to completely redesign it almost.
I think that there's going to be a lot of monetary opposition to this too, if I'm going to be perfectly honest.
I don't.
Because, I don't mean from all sides, but states make a lot of money off of DUIs and shit and traffic infractions, and if that just goes away, there are small towns that's how the cops make their money, right? So I don't know where that money is going to come from. Second off, you won't need parking enforcement. You go into a city and you just be like, okay, car, fuck off for a while. It drives itself around. It could still be cheaper than parking in a city.
I think that, right, one thing that we have to remember is that unfortunately, in the case, the moneyed interests do hold the biggest cards, right, in this country. And all of the major car manufacturers, GM, Ford, FCA, Fiat Chrysler, have shown a huge interest in self-driving cars. They've either started their own units within their company or acquired other companies to make self-driving cars. And I know GM is even looking at an app similar to Uber, except instead of you driving other people around, you rent your car out to other people and it's self-driving. So you basically you go to work or you come home from work and you just press a button and your car goes into self-Uber mode. and then it just goes around, and anyone else who needs a car can use your car while you're sitting at work.
I didn't know it was limited to self-driving cars. I thought it was just in general you could do that with your vehicle.
I don't know if it is or not, but the main impetus behind it is once they debut self-driving cars, that like a big selling point is like, okay, yeah, it costs $6,000 more, but you can make X amount of dollars per year or per month extra by just hitting a button on an app, and then it goes out and makes money for you.
If it is financially feasible, I am all over that. I love that.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and I think I think all of the car companies see a major way that they can continue to make money. I think they see a way where you can lease cars directly from them, right? And you can have that kind of consistent revenue coming to them just for making cars, and that cars would become an even larger share of the transportation mode. Like, think about cities like New York and San Francisco, where in those cities, most people are not driving, right? You go to New York, the average person is either taking a cab or the subway or a bus.
We went to New York yesterday for that rugby tournament, and I was like, why the hell would you want to live here? Look at all this traffic. But and then I thought about it, I was like, well, I guess people don't really drive because it's a nightmare in the middle of like a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Well, they also have some kind of public transport infrastructure that seems to be working well enough.
Yeah. I mean, I've been to New York. I've been to San Francisco. I've been to New York a lot. I know the New York subway system quite well, so that like when I go there, I know like Lisa had been to New York a few times, and her and I went back in December, and it was funny that I'd be like, okay, let's go here, and she's like, all right, and she'd like immediately bring out her phone for an Uber. And it's like, no, it's way cheaper, because Ubers can still be kind of expensive in Manhattan, and I know how to use the subway system, so it's pretty easy for me to get around and get us to within 2 blocks of where we need to go for the most part. Right. And I mean, I went the whole weekend. I think we did get an Uber once.
Yeah. Interestingly, I think a lot of people are not quite aware to the level of automation that their transportation already is.
Yeah.
Like, I think trains are largely, well, I don't know so much about trains, but I think a lot of it is not directly in control of the conductor as it is anyway. I know airplanes mostly fly themselves. They just have a person.
The pilots take off and land, and then it's cruise.
Yeah. And even then, it's like,
adjust for unannounced turbulence.
Right. But the big argument that I think is the most preposterous is people telling me that automated driving will not take over the trucking industry. They go, oh, well, it can do like long hauls over the road.
But that'll be the first one it takes over.
Well,
absolutely.
People are like, oh, it'll do long hauls on the road, which they've already done. I mean, they have trucks running, hundreds of miles across the country on the highway. But you'll need a driver for when it gets into cities where you have to break laws and shit. And I'm like, any time that somebody, and this might be a little rude of me, anytime somebody tells me that we can't do something because we don't have the software, therefore it's impossible, I automatically think that they're wrong. Yeah. Because we have until civilization ends to develop more powerful software.
We're just going to keep trying, and we're going to get more data and make it more accurate and refine it down until it can be better at humans.
So what you do, how you navigate to some warehouse where you have to drive the wrong way on a one-way street, is you have the truck do the whole way, and then you get some 25-year trucking veteran to do it 150 times, and then you take that data, and the machine learns everything that person did, and it is now just as good.
Yep.
Every sort of public transport and industry transport, I think I don't think we're not going to have bus drivers anymore. Why would we have bus drivers, shuttle drivers, train engineers, and like?
I think you'll have them there in case of an emergency. Maybe not for truck drivers, but in larger forms of public transport where you're transporting large numbers of people, you'll still have people on the train to like watch to make sure, oh shit, the software bugged out. Whoops, let's shut it down, call it in, let everyone know, hey, software bugged out, we got to get somebody out here to fix it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I mean, on the whole, you're completely correct.
I feel like in the end, even that, like the systems will be more reliable than to even have to have a person there. At the very least, I imagine that the compensation for a person being there is going to be much, much lower.
Yeah.
It'll just be somebody just kind of be there, right?
I agree.
Like, you know, places have security and it's just a person who walks
Yeah.
around. They don't even have a radio. They just
Yeah.
be there. They sit in a car or whatever. Shit. Yeah, I had some other thing. Oh, I used to do delivery for a corporation delivery service. And the way that I see that going is, you know, I would drive the truck and then I would do deliveries. I think they're just going to get rid of people driving trucks and just have runners, right? So you sit in the passenger seat, and if something goes wrong, you can call it in.
Yeah.
But really, all you're doing is running packages to the door.
Yeah.
So,
and hey, there might even be places that do delivery where it's like, yeah, we don't come up to your door. You gotta we'll park on the street, and you gotta come out and get it.
yeah.
And I don't know if that's good. I will say it'll be tough because it'll suck. And my brother-in-law drives a truck, right? So it's tough to justify when I know someone that is affected, right? It always depends on how you set up your entire economic system, right? If you get to the point where you've got these, truck drivers, is not a job anymore. And there's a lot of towns out in this country, smaller towns in the middle of nowhere, who a large percentage of the people there drive a truck because, you might be in the middle of Iowa and you got easy access to I-80, right? And it's like, well, it's easy to drive a truck. I'm halfway in the middle of the country, so if you tell me, hey, I need you to drive this from Maine down to Mississippi, I can get there just as quickly as I can get up to Montana or somewhere else because you're right in the middle of the country. And all of a sudden, that's really not an option. And those are decent paying jobs, too.
Yeah.
So, that there's a trade-off that you have a lot of people like that are no longer able to make a living doing the same thing they were doing. But at the same point, literally everything that you bought just became a shit ton less expensive because of the shipping costs just went down dramatically.
Right.
So depending on how the economic system is set up it depends on who's going to benefit from that. Do the people who sell those products cut it down enough so that it eliminates the need for you to make as much money, so it's more of a deflationary factor? Or is there still inflation and all of the gains, all the profits from that further automation, the productivity go to the top?
Yeah, I think that to me the most logical conclusion is it's simply there will just be people without work.
Yeah.
And those jobs are, unless some new industry pops up or something, those jobs are simply going to go away all of a sudden.
I think of my job, right, where I work for a company that is just absolutely massive, and the amount, given the software tools that are available to me and my own knowledge in programming, right, what my entire team is capable of doing, it is absolutely incredible what we are capable of doing, the volume of things that we are capable of doing. And not even none of the people on my team are programmers, right? We're not developers or anything like that, but just knowing the basics of coding allows us to handle such an insane amount of work to repurpose things on the fly that there's no way that the amount of work can grow in conjunction with the amount of people available in the labor force.
Yeah, I think that eventually, I'm a software developer. I think my job will go away when we finally in 50 years for sure. I think doctors will mostly go away. I think lawyers will mostly go away. Anything that you can
I don't
effectively...
think lawyers will ever go away because they'll just make laws that make them more necessary.
Well, I'm not saying that they're completely going to go away, but a lot of the roles that support lawyers as well, especially like research and law analysis and stuff. And I'm reminded with your assertion, I'm sort of reminded about what I've read about the Supreme Court. A lot of the time, the arguments presented in front of them, it doesn't really sway the decisions. They already, the justices already know the law. I mean, they do the hearing, but they already know the law. They know their interpretation of it. They sort of know what's going to happen.
I think you also got to factor in that each state has its own laws. It's not everyone has the same exact law. Even with the whole driving thing, each state has its own traffic laws that they're going to have to adapt to and things like that. So I don't know that it'll go away. Just that other states might take longer to adjust to that than others. would that might be quicker.
Yeah. I mean, sort of what I'm getting at is I think that the majority of the usefulness of having an individual interact with these different situations will be removed because so much of it is typical behavior. You could use big data sets and general trend and analysis to determine what's best for the vast majority of people, and then you'll keep specialists really informed people for the finer points, right? So there's somebody wrote a program to help people challenge traffic tickets, and then successful challenges went up a bunch because they implemented a system that could do it. Now it's and just one instance, but most of the time when you get a cold, people go with the same symptoms. You go talk to a doctor. Well, we could come up with a system that cuts that doctor's time out, and you go, it's probably just a cold. Just get better. That's sort of what I'm getting at. So I don't think they'll go away, but interestingly enough, we sort of turned into a little bit of a tech talk there. I think it's about time for us to take a break, and we'll come back on the other side, talk about whatever Jamie's got on his mind. Give you some mic time here, bud. All right,
that
see you in a bit.
Now we're back.
Welcome back, everybody. Hey, Jamie, what's on your mind? What should we talk about?
Oh man, I didn't even give it any thought, honestly. And I'm under concussion protocol right now. Yeah, I got
So you couldn't give it any thought.
Yeah, I couldn't technically. Yeah, I went in like my first game yesterday. I chased down a kickoff, and the guy got low and squared up with me and hit me. They ended up going down, and I went down too. But I was a little shaken up, and I'm like, all right, I got to get up. So after I got up, I was just like, where am I? And then and then it came back to me after a couple of seconds. I was like, oh, I'm in a rugby match in New York. Time to play another 2 games of rugby with but yeah, I didn't really give it any thought. I mean, what?
What's the last thing you played?
The last thing I played, well, I played Dragon Ball Z the other night, and then I played a little bit of Madden. Before that, games I actually owned because I played those with my roommate. I think it was Crash Bandicoot is the last game I bought just because that was a little nostalgic.
Is it the remastered one?
Yeah, it is the remastered one.
What'd you think of that?
I liked it. It gets a little frustrating,
That game's hard as shit.
It is really fucking hard, but I like it a lot. I mean, it's fun. It's pretty cool to me, but and I think I couldn't even tell you what I played before that, but I used to play the Uncharted series. I think was the last one I actually played. And I like
played through that whole series.
I didn't play the one with the girl.
Okay.
I just never ended up buying it. I don't know why. Just I haven't really played video games too much lately.
Hey, it's cool. I mean, the Uncharted series. Tell me what you thought about that. That's what is it like a movie sort of version of a Tomb Raider?
Yeah, it's kind of like Tomb Raider.
Okay.
Basically, I actually liked it a lot. It was a pretty good game. I didn't. This was a few years ago since I played it. I haven't played really invested any time into video games in a while. I'm more of a big TV kind of person. I watch a lot of TV shows and a lot of movies and stuff like that.
Well, what have you been watching lately?
Lately I've been watching There's a show with I can't remember the guy's name from Always Sunny, but he's in a new show that's pretty funny. There's
I'm sorry, Glenn Howard.
Glenn. What is it? What's his last name?
Howard?
Oh, okay, yeah. It's called AP Bio. It's a pretty
Is that
funny
Dennis?
show.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a pretty funny show. He's like a Harvard professor or something that goes to teach at a high school, and he like just hates it completely. But yeah, I mean,
Is it a comedy?
yeah, it's a comedy
okay,
show.
okay.
Yeah, it is. It is. I just saw it on Hulu and started checking it out. It's pretty funny.
What is it? They're like one season out?
Yeah, it's the first season. I think there's only 6 episodes. I think I mean a lot of TV shows I just rewatch over and over again. Like The Office is my favorite show. I watch that.
Anybody else in here watch The Office?
I've seen it 5 times. I'm actually just finishing it now, actually.
I've only seen a handful of episodes.
I've watched it all the way through one time. Jake, I'm curious what your opinions of the show are based on just a handful of episodes.
My first mockumentary was Trailer Park Boys.
Whoa.
I was watching that shit as the season DVDs came out
No.
because I have a Canadian grandmother who is just as twisted as the rest of my family and a Canadian stepmother.
Mm-hmm.
So she would, as a gift, send my stepmother these season DVDs all the way back to when the season 1 came out.
Holy shit.
So I'm like 12.
You're like an OG,
like watching this shit.
like an OG American Trailer Park Boys fan.
I am.
I don't know if there's anybody who could possibly have been around
Yeah,
longer.
I cannot think of a single person who started watching that show before 2012 other than you.
Yeah. No, we
And even
would-
that's early.
Well, how
My-
long ago was that?
I don't remember
10
exactly.
years,
16
probably more
years
than
ago?
10 years ago.
It's an old show. I think season 12 has just came out or is about to come out on Netflix. But the first 7 seasons were on Canadian television.
Then they had to take a break in order to get the rights. So it could have been 15, 16 years ago.
It could have been. I was too young technically for the show. My sister was
Not in
way too
Canada.
young and was like we would wait till my sister would go to bed and then my stepmom and my dad would just watch a few episodes.
So if you're
off the
not
season DVD.
if you're not familiar with Trailer Park Boys, I would basically summarize it as cops, but for a couple of goofballs in a trailer
a
park.
trio of pot smoking, drunk perpetually, just career petty criminal.
Yeah, petty criminals.
Buck bags in a Canadian trailer park, and it's season 1 kind of drags. You asked me about The Office, but now we're talking about Trailer Park Boys.
That's fine.
Because
Yeah,
I said so. Season 1 kind of drags a little bit as it establishes everyone, but by season 2, they're full blown crazy train, and it just escalates season to season. And it's the last few Netflix installments have been like good enough, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
But like seasons 2 through like 7, maybe even like I think season 8 was the first Netflix one. 8 and 9 are hysterical also. Just a fantastic show. And I think, and I'm not sure, but I think one of the original fake documentary series. I don't know how old the British version of The Office is relative to Trailer Park
I
Boys.
think it's going to be a few years before that because I think
It
the
might be.
British version of The Office is like 2001.
They could be older.
Yeah.
then.
I could not get through the British version of The Office.
Gotcha. And I don't know if anything precedes even that. But the Office, while it did make me the American Office, while it did make me giggle here and there, I just never really gave it the chance it perhaps deserves.
So I have to comment on Trailer Park Boys. Have you seen that at all, Jamie?
Actually, I watched it. This was back in like 2009 because I was still in high school, and this was actually when I was playing video games, like a lot back then, and like I would play like most of the day, because what I did in my senior year was I would work 2 weeks on, and then I would go to school for 2 weeks. So I worked in a restaurant because I took culinary arts in high school, and would work nights. So just throughout the day, I would just play video games all day, go to work at night, come home, sleep a few hours, get up, and then start playing video games like right back at it at like 6 a.m, just start playing. And so I played Call of Duty with this girl, and she was actually from Delaware. It was weird the way we met because like my gamer tag had like 302 in it or something like that. And she's like, "Is that 302 as in Delaware?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "Oh, I'm from Delaware too." And I don't remember her name, but I remember her gamer tag. It was June 16th because my birthday's 2 days before that. So we shared relatively close birthdays. So she told me to check out Trailer Park Boys. So this was, I mean, that's almost 10 years ago that I watched it. But yeah, so I'd definitely check it out. I thought it was pretty funny at the time, but I'll get back into it. And
Quick update: Trailer Park Boys aired its first episode on April 22nd, 2001. The Office UK, July 9th, 2001.
Whoa.
A couple months apart.
Yeah.
So Trailer Park Boys, the first season is a little rough, but it definitely, they start to hit they develop the characters a little bit to what you like. Like you said, by the second, third season, I think it's really hitting its stride. It was interesting because there was an actor that ended up leaving the show. He made an interesting point. He said a lot of things that's worth reading. I can't remember which actor it was. But he said, you know, in the first 4 seasons or whatever, they never saw a script. Then all of a sudden the show shifted and they started scripting things. And that was part of the thing. I think Reno 911 didn't really have a script either. Reno 911 was an actual cops parody.
Yeah.
And they would just have a premise and then you'd fill it in. And I guess the first few seasons of Trailer Park Boys was like that. And then they started scripting more and more things and the vibe changed. And then there was issues with compensation. It ended up reading more in depth to it. Like compensation for the actors was pretty rough. Mm-hmm. So this whole thing
it was a pretty low budget affair.
Yeah, it ended up being like, I mean, there was money there, but it wasn't going to a lot of people. So it ended up being a big labor of love. Now, when they finally took a break off Canadian TV, and then I think Julian and the guy who played Ricky and Julian involved, I think they got the rights. Made a couple movies. They came back to Netflix. I felt like they flanderized themselves, meaning they became like such parodies of, like, they went to the extremes of their character so much that it moved away from the roots of the TV show that I enjoyed so much. They there was one thing, they built like this like super duper sick shed marijuana hash manufacturing plant, and there were whores and they all got crap. I was like, this isn't a trailer park anymore.
It's too successful for them.
Yeah, this isn't like a bunch of jabronis in a trailer park.
The cycle of the show is, you know, episode 1 of a given season, some main characters leave jail for something.
Right.
Then the plot of the episode of the season will be, the A team, Ricky, Julian, Bubbles, or some combination thereof, have some kind of plot to make money illegally, of course. 1 or 2 of them might choose to try to go to legit, and then eventually they get roped in. Bubbles always tries to go legit. He hates committing crimes and always gets roped in.
Well, as legit as selling recovered shopping carts
that he steals from competing malls. Yeah. So it's just completely fucking insane. And by the end, and of course the other team, usually Jim Leahy or the police or somebody, is trying to figure out Team A's plans and thwart them. And by the end, somebody goes to jail again. Usually several main characters go to jail. Rinse, lather, repeat. Next season, people leave jail, new plots begin. It's very cyclical, but just the fact that it starts with leaving jail and people ending up in jail again, like, they're just everyone, even the people trying to stop the illegal plans are repeat recidivists. Right. Like the quote unquote like good guys, if the protagonists are really kind of nefarious bad guys most of the time, which, victimless crimes, but whatever, they still fire guns off in the
oh my God.
park all the fucking time.
There's a scene where they're having a gunfight, like they're blasting at each other.
Yeah.
And one guy, somebody gets hit, and Julia goes, "Knock off with the shooting. We got someone injured over here." So it's like they make it clear that they're shooting at each other, but not actually trying to hit each other.
Yeah.
They just point guns.
Just complete disregard.
So stupid.
Complete disregard for each other's safety.
God. But like, okay, so when they came back and they took the characters and their development to this extreme, and like it was like too much for me, but I love the show and I still love the humor, so I stuck through it. This most recent season, they sort of brought it back down. Mm-hmm. They were like normal.
11, right?
I think so. They were like normal again, and I'm so excited. The show, however, has had a couple of classic characters who have passed away.
Passed away or quit the show.
Phil. What was his name?
Philadelphia Collins.
Phil Collins. He was known for a shirt with a big tiger on it that had I think a big mustard stain on it.
A huge mustard stain. And his gut was this fucking bulbous, like, pregnant, just cheeseburger gut, and he never had a shirt that fit him properly, so it was just hanging out.
And what he would, if the episode ever got quiet while he was talking to somebody, he'd look at somebody who was looking at him and go, "What you looking at my gut for?" And everybody would, But he died.
And every time he got hit in the gut with something, he would just ring out the most tremulous belch you'd ever heard.
Clearly added in post. You know what I mean? Like the actor just opens his mouth and they put it in afterward.
Yeah.
But he died, unsurprisingly, because he had a baby hippopotamus for a belly. And then Jim Leahy, I gotta say, Jim Leahy's the trailer park supervisor. Mm-hmm. And if you're wondering why I'm saying park this way, that's how they say it in the show. Yeah. And he runs around with his lover / assistant trailer park supervisor
/ second primary cheeseburger aficionado of the show.
He's a Randy who wears dress pants but never wears a shirt over his greasy walrus cut. There's just so much lore. You got, but anyway,
so much lore.
Leahy's every season he tries to manage his alcoholism. And he can't. And I got to tell you, by like the 7th season that Leahy becomes an alcoholic again, like a raging alcoholic, I was like, I can't laugh anymore. It's sad. He's like swimming in a pool of liquor. A literal pool of liquor.
That was the end of season 8 or 9 where he becomes the liquor snurf.
The liquor snurf. He's swimming in blue liquor that they made illegally. And he gets drunk, dumps it all into a kiddie pool, and falls asleep in it, and turns himself blue.
Yep.
And becomes the liquor snurf. Like it's just
way.
Well, he died, so I wonder what they're gonna do.
Die, yeah.
I wonder whether the actor never drank.
Nope.
Go figure. So The Office, I had sort of passing exposure to it. I was like, this is all right. But it was on Netflix, and I said, fuck it. I'm gonna give it a real shot and start from the beginning. And your show could be pretty much dog shit, but if it's on Netflix, I'm gonna get sucked in. Like, I loved Lost with all its quirks and problems because I could just power right through it. Right? What do you think about The Office?
Me?
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's probably my favorite.
What do you like
show.
about it? What characters do you like? Are there any characters you don't like?
You know, all of the characters I think have their own like specific roles to them. My favorite, I'd have to go with Michael Scott, of course.
Really?
Yeah. I just love how
wonderful.
like politically incorrect he is. You know, all the shit he says that probably shouldn't come out of his mouth, but you know, he still ends up saying it. I also like Dwight Schrute.
Oh my God,
he's one of my favorites as well.
Can you describe Dwight, his character?
Not really. I mean, he's a beet farmer, entrepreneur, also property manager,
also sells paper.
Salesman, assistant to the regional manager. He is acting manager for a couple days, and you know, he's just kind of like he's kind of a nerd, and also you know, he's really funny and like just. It's like way off from modern society as well.
He's almost what you'd call like a mall ninja, right? He's like read up on all these different fighting techniques.
Oh yeah,
that he clearly doesn't have a grasp of, but he takes really,
all.
really seriously. He's just like so out there. He's hard to deal with, right? And he'll betray his coworkers to win favor with the manager, Michael Scott. But one episode, he hits his head and he gets a concussion.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes over and he interacts with somebody, and he's like, what does he say? He goes to Pam, and he drives Pam nuts. And he goes, Pam, you know, you can go buy songs from this Russian website for 10 cents a piece.
Yeah.
And he goes, the only problem is that they're all in Russian. And she goes, well, then what good are they going to do me? Like, typical Dwight. And he goes, oh, I'm just kidding. And then like they get along really well. So the big joke is Dwight with a concussion is a normal, likable person. And then he gets better and he goes back to his old self. But it's are there any characters that like you don't like so much?
I would probably say Ryan. I think he's a jerk throughout the show.
Yeah.
But you know, he gets a little bit better.
Interestingly,
towards the end, I guess.
He was a writer for the show, right?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, BJ Novak was actually a writer for the show. And I mean, to do that, you have to be pretty talented guy, but I wasn't a big fan of the character itself, but, another one of my favorites is Creed. Like, he doesn't have like a huge role in the show, but the guy is like, when he does appear, he's fucking funny. Like, they had a Halloween episode and and everybody's dressed up in a costume, and he just comes in with blood all over his clothes, and he's like, "Oh, today's Halloween, perfect." Like, and just a couple other ones. Like there's one, the cops show up and he's just standing off to the side, and he's like, "Just pretend like I'm talking to you until the cops leave." So he's a pretty good character.
What else was another thing he says? Was the Taliban's awful. Great heroine, though.
Some of the stuff that, like, Creed has some of the most ridiculous one-liners throughout, like, the little interviews that they do when there's other shit going on.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. He's definitely one of the unsung heroes of the cast.
I really like Meredith. She's like this, what is she, like late 40s lady who's still single, likes to get annihilated, and
is always down to bone anything that moves. There's like one episode, I think she just shows her tits to
Michael, and he goes, "Okay, good night." He leaves, and she's just in an office environment. She is always down to party.
She sounds like the an older Pam from Archer.
Yeah.
Older and hornier.
Yeah.
Yes. If that's somehow possible.
She's so
Apparently
great.
it is.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like one thing that I've been doing is like a lot of these shows I watched like years ago, and one thing that I've really been doing lately is getting pretty high and rewatching them, and I think that gives me a better appreciation for the shows and stuff.
Changes
like
your
that.
frame of mind.
Oh yeah, definitely
Sure.
does. One show I love to watch while I'm high is Always Sunny. I just feel it's so much like it just has such a different dynamic to it than watching it just completely sober. It's hilarious. That's another one of my.
It almost puts you on the same wavelength as the characters.
Oh yeah, definitely does. Definitely does.
I gotta be honest, I would really like to see the characters from It's Always Sunny have a little more success. I know it's in a lot of shows, they want to keep things the way they're going, and part of the humor or whatever is that the characters never win. But I want them to win a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
They just always fail.
Yeah, and you're like, ugh, I have no emotional investment in seeing them try anything. Because sometimes they have good ideas. That when they had that episode where they were breaking the picket lines to pick up trash in a limo, and they made a ton of money, that was great. But
it's funny you say that, because it's sort of the same problem the opposite way that something totally different like superhero media has. Like you there really is no realistic reason to expect any given superhero protagonist to experience a genuine failure or to encounter genuine risk, however the risk might be framed, right? So it's like, whatever, Wolverine's going to be fine, Superman's going to be fine, Spider-Man's going to be fine.
oh, fucking Spider-Man.
Well, Wolverine did die in the last movie.
Well, yeah, but
Spoiler
what?
alert. Spoiler alert.
Oh, no! I still haven't seen, but it was already spoiled for me. But yeah, like here's the thing. They kind of like pass the torch, and spoilers, whatever. Logan, watch it if you. It's whatever. Fuck you. We had a whole episode about spoilers. Suck my dick.
I
haven't
think there's
seen
been
the
enough
movie.
time to where we can actually say that.
Well,
If you haven't seen it by now,
Sure,
then-
I haven't.
you haven't. Well,
I haven't seen
did
it.
you
But
know
I
that he died?
Yeah, I already knew
Oh,
he died.
okay.
I know that.
I didn't know it.
He kind of passes.
Clearly, I care.
Then
because
why
I've
haven't you
seen-
watched it?
Because I don't care.
So fuck off. And/or suck my dick.
Whatever. Just go ahead.
So the point being, like I don't know exactly how he dies. We don't have to get into it. I know that it happens that he kind of passes the torch.
Yeah, he does.
To the kidlet.
Yep.
He's actually smoking a cigar, and as he passes it, he lights a gas leak on fire and explodes.
He becomes the Human Torch, and then the Fantastic Four movie starts.
Yeah.
No. But the point being is, like, it was realistic for that to happen in that case, right? But generally speaking, Have Superhero will succeed. Have Always Sunny will comically fail. And that's kind of like they have different charms, but it's sort of the same problem. And then it's like, well, of course they're going to fail. Of course they're going to be fine.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You end up with no development, right? And that's like
That is one of the beauties of Sunny, though.
they never develop.
Yeah, that's
I
my
want
point.
them to change a little bit. Like they've been in there. They've been in that bar for like 10 years.
More than that.
And Frank has so much goddamn money. The only thing that ever changed was when Frank took over some company and made $1 bajillion off of that. So we went from rich to even more rich, right? And like they would learn something at some point.
That's not. I mean, look at
one
Seinfeld,
episode
right?
is success,
Yeah,
and then maybe the next episode they lose everything. Look at Seinfeld. Seinfeld was 20 years ago.
Yeah,
but Seinfeld's a good show.
Seinfeld is a good show
but that's another.
in its time.
What
I still watch Seinfeld.
and what development happened with those characters?
But that
they
we
were,
have been not developing characters since Seinfeld. That is so long.
There's something about
there is
episodic.
plenty of character development in The Office, Parks and Rec. What are some other major comedies?
The
of
mockumentaries,
recent?
it seems to happen quite a bit.
Yeah,
Even Trailer Park
uh-huh.
Boys, they do develop. I mean, it always resets in its way, season to season. But things do change, where the relationships change. So there is development there, and it seems like it's more like the sitcom-ish sort of shit.
Listen, I'm just saying I want to see the characters in Sunny develop. It's my comedy, and I need it now.
shout it from the
there's-
rooftops.
I mean, another comedy that I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. There's a show called Atlanta that comes on FX. It's a really good show.
I've heard the name.
It
Chat, does
I
it-
know Donald Glover runs
yeah,
it,
Donald
right?
Glover is
I
in
haven't
it.
seen
and
it, but
the show I think it won an Emmy for best like comedy show or something like that. But there's really good character development in that show and things like that. But it's a hilarious show. If you guys have never watched it, I definitely recommend checking it out. But
It's a comedy.
yeah, it's a comedy.
You know what? I got this mixed up with.
The poster kind of looks like a cop drama or something.
Yeah, I got this mixed up with some show about the radio industry.
Thanks.
Radio industry.
Yeah,
Great.
no, it's the music industry. I'm sorry.
Thank
Oh,
you.
maybe Empire or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I
So-
got it.
Well, Atlanta's not necessarily it's not like that at all, actually. It's like he's basically like a manager for his cousin who's a rapper, and he's trying to promote him and stuff like that. And like it's him, his cousin, and another guy on the show. And the other guy is like, this is where I relate to the show because he's big into like conspiracy theories and stuff like that. And I read a lot of that kind of shit. And it's just, I find it pretty funny, just like the stuff he comes up with. Like the one guy, he's told him his parents are going to Florida. And he's like, tell him watch out for Florida Man. And he's like, who's Florida Man? And he just starts going through all these like headlines. It's like Florida Man kills a flamingo. Florida Man beats up another girl's boyfriend, or like shit like that. He's like, because like every like headline you see about a guy from Florida getting arrested for some dumb shit, it always says Florida man. Like every single time. Like you don't see Delaware Man. It always has like a name of somebody when they do dumb shit. But
Well, there's only like 200 people in Delaware.
yeah, true. That's very true.
You want to hear my most recent conspiracy theory
Yes.
that I've come up with?
No.
I made this up on my own.
Let's
Do it.
hear it.
Alex Jones,
Mm-hmm.
right,
Our Lord and Savior.
doesn't actually believe any of the shit that he says, and he's a government agent. He takes reasonable suspicion of government misdeeds and then spins it into sentences like, they're turning our freaking frogs gay, so that anybody who levies these reasonable assertions is then associated with his over-the-top character and made to look a fool.
Mm. Mm.
What do you think of that one?
I think it's 100% true, and I too came to the same conclusion.
I could see that.
I think they're turning the frogs gay.
I think the frogs are turning gay of their own volition.
You're saying it's a choice for these frogs?
That's
Yes.
exactly where I was going.
Yes.
Yeah.
They have the choice to abide the law, but instead they fornicate with other frogs with the same weight. Can't they change?
Some
Some of them can just like straight up just
So
change.
the actual issue, that I think he was, there was like there was an issue with, there was so many hormones. The levels of hormones were so high in
His locker room.
filtered like municipal water, that it was affecting the development of tadpoles into frogs. There was so much, and like that's a thing to be concerned about. You're like, well, if it's affecting the frogs, should we be drinking it?
I mean, hormones are a thing. And they
Yeah.
affect
Do
biochemistry.
I want to be drinking estrogen clean pea water? I don't think so. You know, people aren't drinking soy milk because it has estrogen that doesn't actually affect you. But you know, so that's an actual question to ask. But when somebody gets up there and starts yelling about frickin' frogs turning gay,
Do you drink soy milk? No.
Bill is not a soy boy.
Do you like almond milk?
it makes my throat itch. So no,
Are you allergic? Maybe you do have some type of nut allergy.
I
Oh, well.
Not to my nut.
no.
He's allergic.
Damn it!
To
I was
these
trying to
nuts.
think of a way to steer away from all nut jokes.
Sorry, I kind of set you up for
You
that.
did. That
Yeah, I'm
was
sorry.
That was artful.
It's a low blow. I wasn't trying
The
to
best
go
kind of
there,
blow.
but, you know.
Oh!
What the fuck?
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm so
All right.
sorry. Accept my sincere apologies.
Is there?
You guys should get one of those like soundboards in here that you can.
I've
like,
been
press
saying
buttons.
it for a while.
Yeah. I'm just lazy.
They don't trust that I would not find a way to.
No, I've already
manipulate it.
said we need to get it, and everybody on the podcast needs to submit. Like half of them will be regular sounds that we know, and the other half will be picks from each member that we don't tell the person with the soundboard that week.
Just like extracts of like an awkward laugh, or it would be like 50% Chris noises.
yeah. But we hand the soundboard to a different person every week, and they don't know what the mystery ones are.
Oh no!
So they go, "This is a good time for this one."
I might have to proactively veto that idea as the executive producer.
Come on, man, it'd be great.
I don't
I would
trust
take
any
all
of
of my mystery clips from like porn clips.
you. Fuck yeah. It'd be like 40% cake farts.
Oh my god. There's a
Maybe
conspiracy.
80%.
Who the fuck made cake farts, and how did she fart for so long? Are you familiar with cake farts? Are you familiar with the video?
Go ahead.
There's a sound
I don't
bite.
know that I want to.
right,
I
I'm
want to be.
Are
But,
you familiar with cake farts?
All right, I'll tell you what cake farts
all
are.
right, let me know.
Shit.
And
Oh,
laugh.
go
That
on.
is a great
like,
sound bite.
What have I
right there.
done?
I got
What have I done?
I got put in a room in college, and somebody put this on. Like, bro, you see cake farts? And I was fucked up. I was like, no way, dude. So it starts off with a girl behind a counter with like a t-shirt on, and she goes, "You know what I like the most?" And she walks from around behind the counter, and she has no bottoms on, and she goes, "Cake farts." And she walks over to like a table, and it has a big chocolate cake on it. And she straddles the cake. She dips her ass in the chocolate icing in the cake, then lifts it up, and the camera zooms in on her ass, and she farts for like 25-second stretches, dips her ass in more cake, and farts some more. That is the whole
I
video.
thought that was like humanly impossible. Not necessarily the cake part, but like a 25-second long.
It
fart.
is unreal. It's like minutes long, all about farting. So anyway, that's cake farts, and I think the government made that one.
I don't know about that one.
I don't know if our government has the technology.
Yeah.
They were trying to weaponize some sort of gastro poison, and they just made a girl who could fart for a long time.
Did you ever see that movie, The Men Who Stare at Goats, with
Love
George
that
Clooney?
movie.
It's a good one, right? And
Yeah.
how they're trying to like use psychic abilities to like get like manipulate people and torture them and shit like that, like the government was. And it, like, I mean, apparently some of it worked, like according to the movie, but it's pretty fucking wild, like what they'll try to use as like, you know.
So I have a friend whose dad was in the army, right? And he was a military intelligence officer. And it's just he just manned like a truck in this was in the 80s, like in Berlin, like monitoring Soviet troop movements or East German troop movements, like through like a radio, not radio, but like radar truck or something like that. Anyway, he just looks like George Clooney in that movie. Like like it's just like striking when I saw that movie. I was like, that looks like, and it's like even the mannerisms were kind of similar. It was just funny.
George
There's conspiracy.
Clooney's in a lot of fun movies. He's in the Ocean's series, right?
Yep.
That's right.
I can't remember a single other movie that he's in, but he's good in a lot of them.
Up in the Air.
I never saw that. Was it any
Very good movie. I really enjoyed it.
What about Oh Brother Where Art Thou? Have you seen that?
Oh my god,
That's a good movie.
that
That's
movie is
That's a
tremendous.
hilarious
Even
movie.
better is the soundtrack.
Oh yeah,
the
absolutely.
music from that is
yeah,
incredible.
definitely. Yeah,
George
it's a
Clooney's
great
also
movie.
in the South Park movie.
Wait,
True.
hold on. The Oh Brother Where Art Thou? Is that a book? Because if that was just a movie that somebody wrote, I am amazed because it is incredible. I guess we have a list here of some of the other movies he's in.
The American, that was pretty good.
Syriana was supposed to be good, but I never saw that.
What's the one? Michael Clayton, that's what I was thinking of. He plays like an attorney, like a fixer. It's actually kind of almost an action thriller, and it's. I thought it was really good.
Did George Clooney ever get married? He got married, right?
I think he's been married and divorced a few times.
Oh,
He
okay.
was married to Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure
and
he
after
was. I
reading,
might be
that
wrong.
was a fun movie.
What's that?
That is like some guy finds. I don't remember what the guy does, but he's like kind of a loser. Finds what he thinks to be like top secret like CIA material, and tries to like extort the government for money, but it like backfire. It's a ridiculous premise.
Jake, you just moved past Spy Kids.
Yeah.
He was in that.
George Clooney, Antonio Banderas, Sylvester Stallone. They were all in that one
I forgot he was in there.
in those series.
So Bill, let me ask you what's your favorite game? If you had to pick one.
Favorite game I ever played, and it's probably covered in a lot of nostalgia, hit me right at the right time. My favorite game I ever played is Skies of Arcadia on the Sega Dreamcast. I loved everything about playing that game. I love the fact that it was on 2 discs. I love the fact that you flew around and you could have ship battles and then you had to fight monsters. I love that if you simply did grinding, you could get wicked OP and unlock all these different magics. There was great lore to the whole thing. And I love the fact that my Sega Dreamcast made a shitload of noise when it had to play the game. You knew you were about to get into an enemy encounter because you hear the Dreamcast go, and then you'd be in the fight scene. That's my favorite game so far.
Very cool.
Yeah, I've gone back and played it again. How about you? You got a favorite?
If I had to pick one, I mean, I would probably have to say probably Halo 3, just because, like you said, the nostalgic feeling. Like when growing up, I played video games a lot. First system I had was actually a Nintendo 64. First game I played was I believe Super Mario 64. Yeah, I played The Legend of Zelda. That's actually one of my favorite games too. Ocarina of Time, I believe, is the one. I believe it. Yeah, it is. And
That's
then
classic.
yeah, it is. And also like Mario Kart. So I had 2 brothers. All we would do is play video games. You know, we didn't like summer break. We would just play video games the entire summer. You know, we would go outside too. But so Halo 3. That's when I first started playing video games like a lot, like every day. And when I first started playing online, I never like knew that there was like all these other people that would like play. So it would be me, my dad, and my 2 brothers all playing on a split 4 screen.
Oh yeah, the good old days.
Just fucking, playing Xbox Live with like other people, and we thought it was the greatest thing ever. And we got to spend time like as a family, even though my mom and sister weren't there, but we got to spend time with our dad and have guy time together, and we would play video games. And my dad was always the worst out of all of us, so we would be playing. It'd be a close game, like tied up, like next kill wins, and we just go hide somewhere. Don't come out and let us just win the fucking game. And my dad would be like, no, I'm not gonna hide, and then he'd run out, get killed, just lose every single time.
Oh my god, that is a masterful troll.
Yeah, it is. And then like here's the even better troll. So it would be 49-49. Dad, go hide. We need to get. We want to win this game. He get the last kill and be like, all right, guys, go to bed. Turn the game off. So you just go out on a good note, I guess.
Oh my god. I thought you were going to tell me he would accidentally throw a grenade at his feet right as you were about to get the 50th kill and then lose a kill or whatever.
Nah, he wouldn't do. He actually enjoyed winning. He just wasn't good at helping us win. So he would say stuff like, well, you died, 10 times. And I'm like, yeah, but I had 25 kills. You died 10 times and you had 3. Like, you can't tell me anything.
Those KDRs.
Yeah, right.
Oh man, I think that if you're an individual in your mid to late 20s or early 30s and you don't have an N64 sitting around with Mario Kart, I think you're really missing out.
I don't have Mario Kart. I do have an N64 sitting around.
See, that's the thing though. Like, no matter the thing about Mario Kart is it doesn't matter if you've ever played before.
Mm-hmm.
You can still have enough fun to get drunk and play that game.
Sure.
And everybody, you're like, yo, you want to play some kart?
Of course.
Everybody's like, sure.
I have played the Switch one a little bit. I had a couple rounds on it.
That's what I was going to ask.
And honestly, like I had put my hands on it just that one time, and it was very comparable. I don't know how the intervening installments stack up the same way, but yeah, just pick it up, go for it. We were playing online with people who were much better. I didn't win a single race. Who gives a fuck? We were just drinking. But playing on, with the Switch, you can split the controller, and I just had like a little half one, and me and another buddy had the split screen going, and then we were online also, and it was still like just as fun.
You guys ever did like drinking and driving, where basically the race starts, you chug a beer, and then you
No.
go.
Oh, no. So I've only ever played it with that. You have to finish your beer before you finish the race,
Yes,
you can't drink while you're driving.
Oh, okay.
So, like, you can choose to chug the entire beer and then race, or you can choose to, like, chug half of it, do a couple of laps, chug the other half, and then finish the race. You can break it up however you want.
That never presented it. I have played that a couple times. It never presented a real challenge for me because I would just
Chug the beer quick.
skull the beer, and then
Yeah.
I'd be playing the game.
Yeah, but if you're playing like 7-8 races and you have to drink 7-8 beers
yeah.
in like an hour probably, because 7 or 8 races probably wouldn't even take that long. So
Right.
you have to drink an entire can of beer, whatever, pint.
The one game that really got affected by our drinking rules was NFL Blitz 2001. I don't know if you've played that game
I
before.
think I played it at your place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've been to my house. I'm pretty sure I've made everybody play that game. So the drinking rules are: if you get sacked, you take a drink. If the other team gets a first down, you take a drink, and if the other team scores, you finish your drink. Now, it might be a football game, but regular scores are 49-56. So you get drunk after 2 games, and that affects your play. But I've never, the drinking like 1 beer or 10 minutes or something. It just never. But I guess that's not really the point, right? You don't want to get so shithoused. Whatever,
I haven't done in a hot minute.
What's that?
A power hour.
Oh man, Can you explain a power hour
Yeah,
for those?
explain that. Yeah.
The ones I've done have been mostly music related, but it's just you look up an hour-long video on YouTube, someone makes it for this purpose, and it's like 60-second clips of, say, songs, right, or stand-up comedy jokes or something, and every time the clip changes to the next bit, you take a shot of beer, and so you do 60 shots of beer in 1 hour, and it is extremely effective.
Yeah, it works out to 5 regular beers.
Yeah.
I once did a power hour of wine.
Yeah, that's what
Oh,
we would.
That doesn't sound too good.
That's what we would do in my old fraternity.
Wasn't
No.
New Year's Eve.
We would get those big 5-liter glass jugs of
Yep.
wine for 40 cents. Drink those, and then traditionally we would drink those, and then we would go to the End Zone, which was the strip club that we went to once a semester. But
Never
yeah,
been
now
to a strip club.
what's that?
Never been to a strip club.
It's
Don't feel like I'm missing out.
it was fun when I was 19.
I've
You're not
only
really
been to the
missing
one
anything.
by the hunting cabin.
Oh no!
It's the only one. What a shit show.
Oh my god! My granddad took us to a strip club one time.
Ugh.
He said, "Hey, do you guys want to go play some pool?" And we're like, "Sure." That was a strip club with pool.
There's not really any good strip clubs in Delaware, as far as I know.
Well, that's funny because when the rugby team went down to it wasn't Virginia, somewhere down there, it might have been Virginia, and we got absolutely annihilated. It was Norfolk, yeah. In the last hour and a half of the 7-hour drive where I was driving the team van, every exit we passed, somebody in the back knew where another strip club was. 30 miles out of this exit, 5 miles out of this one, and they were all drunk because they had been drinking since we lost in the back of the van. And they're like, you got to pull off. And so people were screaming at me to pull over. So I would have to like turn on my turn signal and pretend like I was going to take the exit. And then I would just gently get back in the right lane. I'd be like, oh, man, sorry, guys. I missed it. Like, oh, fuck. All right, next one. It was something. But
just give your teammates what they want, Bill.
I wanted to go to bed, dude. I've been up for like 17 hours. I think iTunes made a little plugin or something that you could
Find the nearest strip club.
No, you could do a power hour with your own music. It would just randomly go to a 1 minute section in the whatever song.
Cool.
I'm sure they did not intend it to be used for drinking purposes.
No, I'm sure it was.
Anyone who listens to music in 1 minute intervals for funsies should probably be executed.
Yeah.
Shoot them.
Probably some type of sociopath.
Have you ever been to the Jake? I can imagine has never been here. One, because I think your experience at the shore is fairly limited to begin with, right?
Mm-hmm.
To Cape May with our.
I've been to Ocean City and Atlantic City.
Okay.
New Jersey and Maryland.
Yeah.
But very infrequently.
I think I've been to one strip club, and it was fucking hacks in Delaware, and it was horrible. Actually, so I got takeout, and I was supposed to be, taking it home, and I just stopped there to meet one of my buddies, and I actually was like grabbing weed off him or something like that, and he was like, just come meet me at the strip club. So I go in, and I'm like hanging out for a while. So this girl comes up, and she's like, you want to, tip me for my performance? And I was like, I have some carry-out chicken Alfredo in the car if you want that. And I was like, but I didn't grab any cash. I'm just meeting him real quick, and she was like, yeah, I'll take it. So I go to my car and like bring back chicken Alfredo and give her a meal. Like,
wow.
I mean, I guess if you're hungry, then you'll take it.
That's
Like,
Have you guys ever been to Sea Isle City? The OD?
I couldn't tell you.
It's a bar there. Talking about power hours made me think about it because there's a band that plays there. I don't remember their name, but they play there fairly consistently. And that's one of the things they do is a power hour where they play 60 songs in 60 minutes nonstop. And they rotate between instruments for the whole thing.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. They're fairly talented musicians, probably wasting a lot of talent performing pop songs 60 for 60 minutes or so like that. Yeah, but that's like a blackout central. It's just all the people, like Sea Isle City is just Delco removed for like 12 weeks in the summer. Everybody from Havertown and Springfield and Upper Darby. I think most of Upper Darby probably goes to Wildwood, but like most of Delaware County like removes itself to Sea Isle City for the summer. And they just all hang out at the OD until they're like 25, 26, maybe a little older than that, depending on how mature they are. Then they move over to one of the fancier bars like La Costa or something like that. But it's just an absolute shit show. I don't remember.
Where's this at?
Sea Isle City, New Jersey.
Oh, is that like a beach town or something? Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. And I mean, it's like I've only ever been there after, Red Bull and vodkaing myself up to the point where I could stand going there. And I don't really remember. I've been so drunk when I've been there that I don't really remember the place. But my memory tells me that there's not a table in the place. It's just standing room, right? The entire way.
I hate it
and
already.
A stage and multiple bars and all ridiculous people that are very wasted congregating and packed in to a hot ass bar in the middle of the summer with no air conditioning.
Jeez.
I hate it. I hate it so much. I've never been there. I never will.
Bill, you've never been to Sea Isle City?
I'm not a beach guy.
Yeah.
I certainly haven't been there as an adult. I just like.
You're a mountain man.
Yeah, more than the sand's hot on my feet. I get sunburned. I don't bodyboard anymore. I got a big gut. I'm like, why go to the beach so I can spend more money and get drunk down there?
Yeah,
I like the beach.
True.
Well, as long as we're on the topic of getting drunk, if no one has anyone else to add to whatever we were just this silly unfocused conversation that this entire episode has been, and I kind of like it. It's a little refreshing.
Yeah.
What other gaming-related drinking games have you all played? Because I've played very,
This is actually a
few.
great topic.
I've played very few.
I play very few as well, actually. That's a good
I'm
question.
fishing for ideas at this point.
I think we played a drinking game related to okay, I remember one. When I was in college, I played Smash Bros since I was but a wee lad. I've talked about this. My first game ever was DK64.
You think it's the best N64 game?
I rented a Super Smash Bros. My mom accidentally returned TK64 instead, and I got to keep Smash Bros. So I've been playing since I was like 3rd grade or something. So I was pretty good, and even when I went to college, I was still competitive. A lot of people get their shit packed, when they go to school, because whatever. But then my senior year, I met these guys who were really good. And I didn't live at their house, but I would drive over just about every day to play with them for at least an hour. And we always had 4 guys who wanted to rock. So my 5th year, I ended up living with them. We played a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And the drinking game was, if you came in last place with no kills, you had to take your pants off. You had to drop trowel. I mean, you kept your underwear on. You had to pull your pants down and play that way. If you came in last place with no kills again...
So I just stepped away for a minute, and I just walked back into... if you had no kills, you had to pull your pants down. So I'm a little...
It's Super Smash Bros. 64. If you came in last place, you had no kills, you had to drop your pants. For shame. If you did it a second game in a row, you had to take a shot of whatever we picked. 3 games in a row... 2 shots, so on and so forth. Usually you would get mercied or something. Somebody would be like,
that seems like a like I understand that everybody was really good, but how often did that happen?
Well, it wasn't really a party thing to do. It was the state of affairs at all times. If at any point, any time during the day, it happened. Probably once or twice a week.
Wow.
Okay.
Because, like we all knew the rules. So if we would get to a point in the end of the game where we're like, oh, somebody has no kills, we would then target that person because they would try to run away so they didn't have to take their pants down. Yeah, and we would all know. We would all just gang up on them. The thing was, if you got no kills but you died 3rd and the person below you had a kill, you were not subject to punishment. However, if 4th place and 3rd place both had no kills, then you both had to drop your pants. And it went like that in the whole line of who didn't get any kills. So I never saw like 4th, 3rd, and 2nd, but I think twice I saw 4th and 3rd get no kills.
Oh, wow.
But I usually by the time somebody had to take their... They lost 3 times in a row, somebody would give them a kill or they would get killed, or like you just stop playing so defensively and guess the guy who just took 3 total shots doesn't have to take another one. So
Was this on GameCube or
64?
Nintendo 64.
Yeah,
Wow.
the original. Still the only one I'm any good at. And then we used to play. Really, they played it. I always somehow missed the draft. Mario Party. And they had an inflatable Stanley Cup. And when you won, you wrote your name on the cup. And there was, I think, some drinking element to that. And they were fucking good as shit at that game, too.
They're actually coming out with that new Super Smash Brothers, I believe I saw for the Switch. They put out a trailer for it not too long ago.
I heard that was out, but...
Is it out? Or
no, the trailer.
Oh, yeah.
I got to tell you, I played Melee on the GameCube, and they changed the behavior. Like, you could charge attacks, and I really liked the instant feedback from the original. And I'm not saying that the new ones are shitty or anything. It wasn't my style. So
I'm not saying that they were shitty. I'm just saying they were bad.
I'm just saying I didn't like them. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying they sucked. I'm just saying, I hated them for every reason.
Well, they keep adding so many goddamn features. Now you collect these like feathers, and then you get a super weapon. And
would you prefer there be? What would you prefer?
Do everything you want to do for the new games. Add all that shit. new characters and stuff, but then just go back to the old school.
Like a classic mode.
Yeah. And like keep your over B attacks. They added like over and B at the same time. Didn't used to do something. Keep those, whatever. But make it so that everything happens instantly. There's not charging. There's not all this other extra flavor, super moves, all that shit. Just make it like the original.
So who's your favorite character? Like, who would you use? Like your go-to?
In 64?
Yeah.
So if it depends on what my opponent picked, but if I had to just pick one, I would go Donkey Kong, because a lot of people aren't aware that his over A behaves like a down A, and what that means is if somebody's not directly over the map, you can hit them and they fly off into oblivion and then they lose a life. However, if you time Donkey Kong, you don't have to use this down A to do that. It's over A. With a down A, you run the risk of also accelerating yourself straight down. So even if you hit your opponent, you can kill yourself before you are able to recover. Donkey Kong's over A does not run that risk. It also has incredible reach above and to the side, and it hits you down at an angle. So even if you're directly over the level, you can still be hit down unrecoverably and lose a life. He also has the quickest grab in the game for the furthest reach. It's actually, if you're right in his face, he'll miss you with a grab. But if you're like 7 feet away, he just gets you, and then he throws you really, really fast. It's super fast. But my follow-up would be Captain Falcon, because he has a similar thing. His down A sends you at an angle, but he's just so super fast, and his up B can grab you out of most attacks. So, but yeah, that's what I would do. And if I'm like fucking around, I'll go Samus. My girl Samus. I just hide in a corner and shoot my big energy gun. You wait till people to forget that you're playing, and kaboom!
Yeah, you're just in the fucking background, like charging up.
Yeah, they're like, "What the fuck, man?" You're like, "Oh, whatever, I don't give a shit."
I win.
I used to do it to my brothers, and then he'd tell my brother, "Let's just fucking attack Jamie." Like,
yeah. If you're good enough, though, you can dodge it, and they end up killing each other.
Yep.
But
I've been playing a drinking game by myself for PUBG, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds.
yeah,
That is, you drink as you play until you run out of drinkables.
That's just what I do most nights when I play that game. But no, I've been fairly consistent where, like, if I die first, so if you like in PUBG, it's 14. You can play squads, 4 people dropping. And this is really only when I play squads. 4 people, drop into the map, and it's teams of 4. Last team to survive wins. And you can, like, in the game, if you get killed, you go down first so someone can come revive you. But then if they don't revive you in time, or if somebody like continues shooting you after you go down, you're dead for good and no one can revive you. So if you go out completely first, I've started, like, my drinking game is I have to finish my drink before the next game, however long that is.
okay.
If you win, that could be just you sipping on it for the next 25 minutes. If your team dies very quickly after you, that means you're chugging your beer.
So, that does sound pretty great. I think that we should take the time to try to come up with the best video game drinking game that's ever been. I think we have the experience in this room. I don't mean to do it on the microphone right now. I think it's a personal project. We should.
Well, it's going to vary from game to game, right? So you'd have to pick a game, and then you'd have to make...
I think we should do that. But here's the thing. These games only work if you stick to the rules, right? I've seen too many times where you establish rules in drinking games and then something, and you just let them slide. Loses integrity. You got to be in whole hog, you know? And then when you can't drink anymore, you quit and you lose. That's it. Not that we're forcing anybody to drink, but if you say, "I'm done," you're done, man. Done. Loser.
Loser. It loses. Loses.
I'm going to come up with a drinking game for solitaire. Every time I have to hit the deck to get 3 more cards, I'm going to drink.
Every time you hit every card flip of the deck?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tiny drinks.
Can we even think any other drinking video game drink?
I'm sure we could invent some.
I mean, we used to, drink if you died in Halo or anything like that.
Did we have any for zombies when we used to play that?
We mostly just got really baked when we played zombies.
That's true.
All right, what do you think? Let's brainstorm a little bit.
Zombies would make really good drinking
Yes,
games,
it would.
though. You could do drink. Obviously, you could do like finish a beer if you die.
Finish beer if you die. You just do a shot of beer every round.
It's
Yeah.
good
Yeah,
if you're
shot of
already-
beer every round, or
yeah,
if you
that's
die
good.
before the round's over, you have to chug the beer,
Yeah.
or finish the beer before the round's over.
That's good if you guys are already good at zombies, though. That wouldn't be good. That wouldn't be fun for me.
Yeah,
Right?
you can get you
Three
can pick
shots
it
and
up.
then
You
I
get
finish
good.
my beer.
You get good.
No,
son.
I'm
You
not going
can-
to
you
get
can get good
good
at zombies.
while I'm drinking booze.
Yeah, it makes you play better. It's like a performance-enhancing drug.
7 beers makes me better at
Things
whatever.
like,
5 to 7, but after that.
Things like even like Left 4 Dead, where you can get knocked down and revive. Well, Call of Duty also, you
Yeah.
get knocked down and
Yeah,
revived.
yeah.
If you get just like knocked down, that could be a shot of beer or something, or whatever. I mean, you could do liquor if you really hate yourself, but in these games it happens a lot, so
Right.
choose accordingly. What else?
What about Castle Crashers?
Mm.
You know, at the end, your characters have to fight each other if you're doing co-op.
Yeah, at the end of at several different benchmarks throughout the
Yeah.
story. Yeah, that
You
happens.
could do the losers have to drink a
Every
beer.
time you rescue a princess.
Yeah, yeah.
Fight
You
each
could,
other, yeah. The loser could have to chug a beer or whatever in those instances. Boy, that game was fucking fun. Castle Crashers.
Mhm.
So bizarre.
Yeah, I did play that one actually.
I do recommend. Classic side-scrolling action with all the twisted depravity of Newgrounds.
I don't think I've ever played it, but
Oh, we have to fix that.
So okay, are we? I guess we have to co-op or competitive games, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that's it.
And
has
that's
to
the thing
stick
with
to
that. I play them so infrequently. At this
Pretty
point.
much shooters are the way to. Well, shooters are racers.
Ooh, yeah, racing games are good.
What other good racers are out there that we could? What if like Arctic Thunder or something? Oh God, I really like playing the old games and making it a drinking thing,
Mm.
right? Because you're pretty much all going to be terrible at them, you know.
Yeah.
But they're not. You'll get through them. Like some of these new games, you just won't even. See, I told you we couldn't do it on the microphone because
Yep.
it's
We're
Yeah.
floundering here.
yeah.
She.
Shit.
I got a quick question.
Sure.
I see all this stuff online about like Fortnite. Have you guys ever played that at
Oh,
all?
We talked
yeah.
about it at length, and Frank is a
Oh,
resident
have you?
expert.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
But you've since given it up.
I wouldn't say I've given it up. I just prefer PUBG. I play Fortnite. I might play Fortnite tonight. I played Fortnite last night. All my PUBG friends were not like one was at a wedding, the other was in New York. Like the other went to the Sixers game and came back wasted. He tried to play and then he just giggled and then got off. So I will play Fortnite if no one else is playing PUBG, but I will always choose PUBG over Fortnite.
So I just watched a streamer. There's a subreddit that pops up on my feed. Live stream fails, and one was like this guy gets mad and reports streamer for killing him because this guy Choco Taco is a fucking freak. He and like 4 other guys got on I guess it was 3 other guys got on a server for PUBG all together. They're all Twitch streamers. So they play video games live on the website Twitch, and people watch them, and they won everything. They would all get like 13 kills each, and they were so good at first. It made me angry because I was like, first off, I'll never be this good at anything. Second off, like no matter how good I get, I'm still gonna get stomped by somebody like this whenever they roll along. It's like discouraging. But after a while, I got past that juvenile emotional shit. I just appreciated how good these guys are. There are some freakishly good players out there.
Yeah, I know.
Sure there are.
He has a camera on his face with a microphone in front of him, and his face is totally placid the whole time. He's like, out there's a guy at 300, and then you would just watch the screen go like right to him, right to the enemy, boom, 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 and he's dead. Oh, there's 4 guys coming down the hill, boom, 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 boom. It was insane. It was amazing.
Yeah, some of those guys have like serious hand-eye coordination.
I wonder, like, I really do wonder how the hell they get so good. Do they already not work and then they play all the time? I'm sure some of them are just freaks and great at everything, but there are so many streamers that are really good. Like, do they get good after school and then they're like, I'm so good I can make money off of it? How the hell do you get that good?
Well, that's how me and my brothers were in Halo. Like we would play in tournaments all the time at like GameStop and GamerDoc and stuff like that. We would always go and play in tournaments, and we usually would we would win sometimes, but if we didn't, we'd place like third or second because we just were like pretty good at just headshotting people. That's basically all it took, was just keeping that hand-eye coordination. Now I fucking suck. Like, I tried to play the other day and I was like, I'm complete shit
How
at
do
this
I
game.
shoot?
Yeah.
Let's jump.
Dude, I mean, PUBG is, sometimes we'll just get wrecked. And I'll be like, those guys are probably streamers. Because, like, me and my friends are all pretty good. Like, especially when we play squads, like, I will say, I always jump at the most popular spot on Xbox, which is the school, probably. The most popular spot to jump in the PC version is Pochinki, which is a town right in the middle. The school on Xbox seems to get the most attention.
Why would they be different?
I don't know. Because they are.
Is it because there's are there as many people from China playing on the Xbox as the PC?
But I mean, who knows? The reasons why are irrelevant. The point is, I jump at the most popular spot. Yeah, and so sometimes I will have a game where I die in 30 seconds because I land and someone landed just a split second faster than me, and they got a gun before me, and literally as soon as I landed, they shot me. But there are other games where I'm the first to land, and I get a gun, and I go around, and I wreck 6 people within the first 2 minutes, and I am the master of the school. Those are far more frequent in the past couple of weeks since I've been playing now for a couple of months. And, I mean, it's just like, I know that I'm getting pretty good at the game with how much practice that I've had, and just in general, like, when I try and shoot people, like, I don't miss as much, and I get way more headshots, and shooting on Xbox in that game is really difficult. And that sometimes, like, I'll roll up on somebody and, like, we'll just, like, me and my friends who are all also pretty good after we've been playing now for a few months a lot, we'll get annihilated. Like, we'll barely get a shot off and we'll just all be dead. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, like, we're actually pretty good at this game. We win fairly consistently in squads. How the hell did someone, like, I can understand us losing, but we put up a really good fight, and, you know, we pretty much, like, if it's 4-on-4, like, we take out 2 or 3 of their guys, and they just had a better position on us or something like that. But, like, sometimes we just roll up on some people, and we're like, oh, yeah, we got the element of surprise, like, we got this. And then, like, we get out, and we, like, try and shoot them, and then, like, oh, that's funny. And they just headshot us all in, like, less than a half a second, and we're instantly dead, and we're like, wait. Are we all dead? Like, it literally happens so fast that we don't even realize that it happened.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I never got good at console shooters where you're playing with 2 joysticks. I just, like, the mouse even, like, sometimes I catch myself jumping too hard with the mouse and missing, but it can correct way easier. Just I don't know how you guys are competitive at all on consoles.
Practice, I guess.
It is definitely practice.
Yeah. I've just, at this point, like, it took me a long time because until college, probably, not even until college, like through college, I played way more first-person shooters on PC than on console. Because there was a little break, like, I got a really good computer when I was like 14, and then I used that for a long time, and by the time I was in college, I was pretty much, that computer was not that great. But then, like, when I was, I think, a junior in college, I got a new really good, well, maybe not really good, but good enough computer that can handle stuff for a while. So I went back to that. But we also played a lot of Xbox games since we could do local co-op, especially like we were just talking about zombies. And I think playing as much zombies, because we would play zombies for like 8 to 12 hours at a time.
Wow.
Yeah,
man, I haven't balled that long in a long time.
Yeah,
me neither.
Neither have I. But that's, for a year, that's like basically what we did. We would get around, we would get baked, and we would play zombies. And that was probably what put me over the edge with console shooters, was because zombies is just pure, can you aim? And the faster you can shoot zombies in the face, the better you are. So it was perfect practice. Just like, don't worry about anybody shooting back at you. Just fucking
Headshots.
Aim at the face.
Headshots.
Headshot. Like,
boom, headshot.
yeah.
Because any other hit didn't matter.
Yeah, really. You got
Unless
more
you wanted to
points?
get your points up, if instead of just killing them right away.
so you
or
played
legs to
zombies
slow
too?
them down.
Yeah, the legs. Yeah.
Yeah.
You played zombies too?
Oh yeah. I was pretty good at it. I would we would always do the same bullshit where we'd get a zombie with his legs blown off at the end of the round so we could just run around and re-up and
yeah,
grab
we would
ammo
do that
and shit
too.
like that. Yeah. Unlock different doors and all that. We used to play that. Me and my brothers used to play it. So it was cool. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, we would do that shit. But I mean, that's what put me over the edge with console shooters, I would say, was because just the hundreds of hours of practice that I had shooting zombies in the face just got my shooting skills up to the point where it was it kind of transferred to any console shooter. And then since then, I still have the same computer that I bought now 7 years ago in my junior year of college. So I can't really play that many computer games anymore unless I go out and upgrade. And I just spent $1,400 on a TV and an Xbox One X, so I'm not going to upgrade probably.
Yeah.
So I just play console.
I'm having a difficult time right now with some of the more precise characters in shooters on my PC. There's a sniper character, Widowmaker, that you zoom in on people, and you gotta you shoot them in the head, they're fucked. But whenever I zoom in,
that's Overwatch.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Whenever I zoom in, I start dropping frames. I lose frame rate, and I can't hit somebody in the head. Even when I'm up close and somebody's meleeing me, and I'm using the guy with a medium range assault rifle, I'm shooting at him, and I swear he's right in front of me on my screen. Then I watch his replay, and I'm not even looking at the guy.
Yeah, that happens to me on PUBG, but that's a PUBG problem, not my computer, not my Xbox problem.
So, I've been getting better at Overwatch because I play with people who are better than me because I play with Carl. But
how long have you been playing that for?
Since Christmas.
Yeah. I've wanted to I saw that. I wanted to get that, and I wanted to either get PUBG or Fortnite and play it. But
Fortnite's free.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Well,
so
I
recommend getting Fortnite. You have nothing to lose.
Yeah, true.
By getting it.
I mean, my thing with video games, the one thing is when I was playing, I didn't really have any self-control with it. That's why I don't really play now, because it was either when I wasn't working, whenever I had any free time, I wanted to be playing video games. I didn't want to be doing anything else. So now I'm I don't want to get back to that. So I just have to find a good balance between not
Fortnite might not be a game you want to play then.
Really? Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
It keeps you hungry.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. So I'm
same thing with PUBG, but for whatever reason, Fortnite, probably because it's free, has blown up way more.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've started to improve at Overwatch because I play with people who are so much better than me. Now when I play at my level, it's a little easier. But I had a suspicion. I still maintain that the most beneficial thing that you can get as a new player coming into a first-person shooter is map knowledge. And now that I'm starting to know the maps, I can, as I'm shooting somebody, duck around a corner. I can use cover and throw health at my own feet, or I can run over health because I know where it is. And I've started watching other people who are better than me play and watching how they navigate the map as they're they'll attack somebody who's stronger than them, and that person follows them, but then the person I'm watching backs over some health, uses a super move, and then kills the person in front of them. Big thing that I hated was that when people attack you, they can jump around, which makes them harder to hit. In Counter-Strike, if you jump, you're not hitting anything.
Yeah, and it slows you down.
Yeah, but in Overwatch, there's literally no negative to jumping. So started doing that against certain characters. Started aiming for the head more, because at first I was so overwhelmed, but that I would just shoot the body. But map knowledge first, then character knowledge. I've started to understand how you're supposed to combo and actually click. Certain characters, I thought you would have to push one button and then push another button to do two different attacks. Now I just hold one and tap the other button. So little things like that. But they've released a new character on Overwatch. It's supposed to be the big tank's squire, Reinhardt the big tank. It's his squire, Birgitte or something. It looks like Bridget, but it's I don't know how the fuck she says her name. But she's a mini tank. She's got a shield with it takes 600 damage. She's got a mace that has really long range. She can also throw it, and it comes back to her, and it drives everybody back, including tanks. When she has her shield up, you can click, and she'll do a charge that stuns anybody. even if it's like Reinhardt shielding. Reinhardt's a big tank with a big stun, and then you can hit him. And there's she can heal people around her, or give them armor. I'm not sure if she can.
It's like
heal
a support tank almost.
Yeah, she is fucking strong as shit. And what I learned is that I don't know if they do it all the time, but I know at least right now with this new character, Blizzard opens up this mode called Unlimited. Usually one player can only play one character, in each game. So multiple people can't play the new character. Well, in Unlimited, as many people as you want can play the new character. I quite enjoy this mode a lot. Because then, I work on characters that I'm terrible at. And usually, even though I play quick play, which isn't like ranked, I still feel bad. Because I don't want to take somebody's main character and then fucking blow. So now that I'm not stopping anybody, I pick up some shitty character, and then somebody's actually good at it can pick it up too. The more I play this game, the more I realize that Blizzard's really on top of their shit. But anyway, that's the big development recently. They released this like support tank healer who's super boss and will eventually be nerfed because she's too good.
Do we want to do Steam sale?
How about a quick break, and we'll come right back in the Steam sale and wrap it up. Real quick, we were talking off air. I just want you to... The Eric Andre show? What the hell is that?
All right. So Eric Andre, he's a comedian, and what he does is he gets celebrities to come on his show, which is basically a parody of a late night talk show television. He acts like the host, or he is the host rather, and he just gets fucking celebrities to come on there, and he just fucks with them the entire time. And they ask him like, why do you fuck with people so much? And he's like, nobody does their research. They just think they're coming on, especially like reality TV stars. They want as much publicity as they can get. So they'll come on and he'll just ask them. He'll say like weird shit. Like, you said that Hitler was a hero. You put that on one of your tweets. Why would you do that? And they're like, I never said that. He's like, well, it's right here in my notes. And he'll hold up like a index card that like just has some scribbling on it. And like, I think like people like Lauren Conrad tried to sue him because he like was fucking with her so much. Like at one point he like throws up on the desk and starts like slurping it up, and she gets up and just walks off. Like
was it like, real throw up?
Yes.
He also destroys his set at least twice per episode.
I thought that was fake throw up. I saw that clip.
Yeah, he was like interviewing, I forget who it was, but she's a porn star, and all of a sudden a guy just falls from the rafters through his desk, like and like gets fucked up.
He's routinely just destroying his entire set. Like
all the time. he had T.I. on there. T.I. tried to leave the show like 4 times, like because he just got like fully nude in front of him.
Oh my God.
And T.I. just tries to like walk off the show, and he says they like interviewed him. He's like, yeah, I got him to come back. All I had to say was we're almost done. Just come back. And he's like, he's like, but we weren't actually almost done. He's like, we record like an hour interview, and then he was like, we cut out like 5 minutes of the best parts and we put it in the show.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's insane.
Who's that comedian who's on all the time? It's like a supporting character.
Oh, Hannibal Buress is his co-host, and he literally like, you know how like they have 2 chairs usually for the co-host to sit down like with the celebrity guest. Well, Hannibal Buress just stands for the entire interview, like doesn't sit down.
Like stands up in the corner, is like real creepy the whole time. There's parts where like other people, like other like, semi-regular characters come on and they just like make out in the background the whole time.
Oh,
or,
yeah.
Like fall on top of the guests. Like it's just the most deranged show you've ever seen.
And he just likes fucking with people just because they just come on the show and they don't know anything about it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a trip.
Wow.
It's a trip.
Wow.
As insane as it sounds, like it's 10 times worse. Probably more.
We're
than
not
that.
doing
Yeah,
it justice.
Yeah, we're not doing it justice.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to watch this show. This is too much for Bill. I am already in distress from
Good. Well, then we can move on to the Steam sale.
All right.
This is my favorite segment that we do.
It's the only one we do consistently anymore.
It's the only segment we do. The rest of the time is we just bullshit for 2.5 hours. and
No,
hope
we
that
used to have a
people
news
listen.
segment. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, used to.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what we got here.
Elder Scrolls Online free weekend.
Man, they are still trying to get people on that game.
I actually hear that it's pretty good.
Is it free to play for the weekend and then you have to buy it?
Yes, but it's not subscription based anymore, I hear. You just play the game. You just buy the game and you can play it. I believe that's how it is.
Okay.
They came out with an expansion for it, Morrowind, a few months ago, and I heard that it was actually really good. Made the game way better. I can't speak to it. I played the beta when it was out with my one friend, and we mostly enjoyed it.
Can you bring your Skyrim characters into it?
No.
Yeah. It looks pretty sweet. You said you mostly enjoyed it?
Yeah.
Is it?
The only reason I didn't enjoy it was because it was still in beta and it would crash occasionally and other stupid beta things.
Does it play like Skyrim?
No. It plays like an MMO. At least it did at the time.
So it's just like a Morrowind themed, Elder Scrolls themed MMO?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Sounds decent enough.
If you're interested in it, there you go. Free weekend.
Yeah,
Give it a shot.
try. All right. F1 2017.
It's
Damn, it looks
racing
good.
It
game.
looks amazing. Graphically, it looks super realistic.
Yeah.
Holy shit! These these are real cars. That's it. You know,
I mean, you're not wrong.
I watched a video recently where they had one of these cars flip it over, and it must have been somebody running it with like super good hardware, and I didn't realize that it wasn't real until 3/4 of the way through the video.
Wow.
I think it was just the clip anyway.
Honestly,
wow, they have like
what is it?
They have like a
18
level up
bucks?
system. Yeah.
I don't know if I'd spend $18 on it just because, despite my family heritage, I'm not a big racing game
I
fan.
don't know shit about racing, but if I was into racing, $18, 70% off.
Yeah,
that's
that
pretty
seems
great.
like that's actually kind of interesting to me because I do know a lot about racing.
All right, let's see what else we got.
Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Wildlands.
I have
$20.
that. I have the game.
Is it a $20 game?
15 at most, I would say.
So even at a 67% discount, it's not worth it.
I don't know if it's not worth it. It just didn't do much for me. It's like one of those. It's not an MMO, but it's like like you can play with other people online, and it's designed to be played with other people online, and it's like people can jump in and out. You ever play what's the other one? The other Tom Clancy game.
I know what you're
The
talking
Division.
about. Yeah.
The Division. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's like The Division.
Oh.
Where it's online, but it doesn't have to be like online, and it's designed to be played with other people like all the time. And it looks really good, and the missions are pretty interesting, and they're fairly dynamic missions. I believe there's a story there too. I enjoyed it a little bit, but I just couldn't get that into it.
Yeah, the reviews went from mostly positive to recently mixed, which something must have happened that people didn't like.
It just gets boring after a while, I think. Similar to Destiny. Like, okay, it seems really cool for the first couple of hours, and then you realize that it's kind of just the same thing over and over and over again, and it just kind of loses its appeal very quickly.
Yeah, I'm sort of over this like semi-future tech warfighters anyway, but that's just a personal opinion. Ukulele. Actually, I've heard about this game.
Is this a kid's game?
No, it's supposed to be the spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie. It might even be made, I believe, it might even be made by the same people, yeah. So you can see that you're a lizard with some other monster on your back.
Yep.
Why it went from very positive to mixed, I don't know. Jake, would you mind clicking on the mixed things to see what people are saying? Maybe it's not the gameplay. Stopped working for the Steam controller on OS X for over a year now. That was the first one.
Boring is waiting for the doctor. Buy a hat in time. What?
Oh, Jesus. Graphics 10 out of 10. This is thumbs up. Graphics 10 out of 10. Story 7 out of 10. Gameplay 8 out of 10. Overall 8 out of 10. This game is fun on its own, and playing with someone makes it even more fun. Gets a lot of hate. It's not. Well, it looks like it's just not perfect, but I don't know if I'm correct in saying it's supposed to be the successor to Banjo-Kazooie. I'll probably end up having to support it because I enjoyed those games so much.
Yeah, I liked it actually. I know I used to actually download the Banjo-Kazooie games on Xbox and play that. You could get them through like some type of I forget who makes them, but they have a special app that you can get them on Xbox. Those games. So
yeah, that one was $13. So the ukulele, it's pretty interesting.
Rocket League's still $12.
If I'm not playing Rocket League with my friends, I'm not playing it.
Yeah, but everybody has it, right? So if you don't have it, pick it up. It's $12, and most of your friends probably have it and really enjoy it, and it's a lot of fun.
I'll give you $4. I'll give
$4?
you $4. $4. Yep.
All right.
BioShock, 75% off. Is this? It must be. Oh, BioShock
that's a collection. That's a good
For
deal.
$15.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
Yeah.
I would take that.
Wait. Well, here you go. You got the friggin'
1, 2.
The DLC for 2 and Infinite, and the DLC for Infinite.
Yeah.
That's
That's a ball and deal
That's
right there.
extremely good, actually.
Oh, if I don't have this, I'm gonna have to go home and update her.
I have them for Xbox, but it might even be worth picking up for PC
It really might.
at that price. Damn.
All right.
I saw Far Cry 4, right, for $12.
What? Did Far Cry 4 do anything for anybody?
I played a little bit of it. It was fun for a while. If you use your $1 an hour test, I got 12 hours probably worth of gameplay out of it, but not much more.
What did you pay for it?
I didn't pay anything for it. My roommate bought it.
Oh, okay, and it's $12 now. So yeah, I mean, I think Far Cry 3 was the one that rocked everybody's socks.
Far Cry 5 is out now, actually, I believe, and I do have that downloaded because my roommate bought that. He's a big fan of these games, so I might play that and let you know how it is. This one, I believe, if I had to say anything, it had a good dynamic mission system where everything on the map would adjust to what you did pretty well. So that's why it kind of kept me entertained for a while, but the story was eh. The setting was really nice, of course, like most Far Cries.
Assassin's Creed
Origins already 40% off?
$36.
Ooh, does that mean it's not doing so great?
Not necessarily.
I mean, here's the thing. I have the game, and I have not played it.
Very positive though.
That's I haven't heard anything bad about it. I've just played so much Assassin's Creed, it's just hard to justify playing another game, even though it was free.
Yeah, I mean, it's 40% off, $35.99. I'm really not spending above $20 for any individual game now anymore, so my opinion's probably invalid. G, you can't talk, but thumbs up, thumbs down if this seems like a good deal to you, because you played the Assassin's Creeds before. It's just
Assassin's Creed Origin, $35, $36.
I mean, it's a brand new game.
Yeah, or you could just wait a year. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think BioShock wins it, with the exception of Elder Scrolls, which, it's free, so.
Well,
but it's also over
free to
now.
Play.
Yeah.
Sega Sports Weekend Hockey Manager.
Eastside Hockey Manager for $5. That seems like it might be a $5.
That seems like it should be regularly priced $5.
Yeah. Unless, I mean, it might be new. That looks.
You know what? I've actually heard Football Manager is pretty decent.
A free year trial of the game before.
Yo,
a full year.
Yeah, I've heard Football Manager is awesome.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, it's 50% off, still $25. So clearly there's a fan base there, and yeah, I've heard good things about it. So, if you're a big soccer football fan and you haven't played this might be a time for you to consider it.
Let's see. What else they got? They had Motorsports Manager. I have a buddy who picked that up, and he's been playing the shit out of it. He loves this game. He's big into cars, but
yeah.
75% off for $8.74. Now we're talking. But it's like your other managers. I don't think you actually do much racing, but you do a lot of the team stuff, and they're getting more and more in depth every year. When did this come out? 2 years ago, so it's pretty recent. All right, let's go back to the main page and call it. What do you? Let's go around.
BioShock, done.
Okay. Jamie, what are you thinking?
I'd have to say BioShock too.
Okay.
Yeah, I had that actually already, so I think that's a really good deal. And I think I paid the full price for it, so I would have much rather paid $15 instead of 60.
Frank?
I say BioShock, but also play ESO, play Elder Scrolls Online, try it if you like it, or find out if you like it since it's free, because you can't go wrong trying a free game. And I've heard a lot of good things about Elder Scrolls. I had some enjoyment out of playing it when I played it in the beta version, and I've heard it's only gotten better. So if it's free, try it. If you're looking to actually spend some money, buy BioShock.
I would go with Ukulele. I enjoy BioShock. I think I already have the first two on PC. They have a discount on the Infinite or whatever. But I'm just not in a rush to pick it up because I haven't beaten the first two and I want to do that first. And I'm sure there will be another deal on it. But Ukulele is $13 and $13.59. I'd really like to see it take off, even if this installment isn't the greatest. There's actually 42 hours left on it. I don't know. I feel ready to take a chance because it's so far out of the norm for the games that I've been playing recently. Like Ghost Recon, I mean, it's going to be another shooter. F1, I don't know shit about racing. The other managers and stuff. I'm playing Papers, Please, and I don't know, whatever. So Ukulele's my pick.
Okay. Well, yeah, that I think that just about wraps it up, gentlemen.
All right. I want to thank Jamie again for joining us. I hope you had
thank
fun.
you guys for having me. It was
Absolutely.
a good time.
Anytime.
Thanks for stopping by, filling in.
Thanks again for everybody who's listening. We appreciate all of you. We're having a ton of fun. Please share us with your friends.
And don't forget to subscribe, motherfucker, subscribe.
Well, I as always, cock 'em, lock 'em, and rock 'em, baby.
Pew pew, bitches.